Whether you're a Class 5 rafter or just looking for a couple of laughs, these two have you covered. Welcome to Aaron and Zach's Better Than Mediocre Rafting Show.
Hi there, and welcome to Aaron and Zach's Naive and Entitled Rafting Show, where a couple of naive, entitled guys attempt to talk about rafting with our friend Freshie here to keep us straight. So welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. This is a show we do every Friday at 2 p.m. where we try to provide entertainment. If you're trying to learn more about rafting, where should people go, Dougie?
Gear Garage at YouTube.
There you go. That'll work. This is not a place for education. Aaron, did Aaron just walk away?
I just get a pen. I had to get pen so I can take notes.
Oh,
so
come on. First of all, the show starts, you walk. Yeah, first of all, rub your sunscreen in. You're indoors.
I did.
And be ready for the show. You should have started the show ready to go. Don't go looking for a pen. There, she's embarrassing.
He looks active. He's been out surfing.
This is Aaron and Zach's Naive, Entitled, and Mediocre Show. It's a pretty bad show. Yeah. Anyway, if you're here for education, just turn this off and read a book or something. We're not going to have any education here. This is all just for fun. This is how we just kind of let loose on Fridays. I'm in a mood today, guys. I'm ready to just do some talking. If you're listening to this on the River Talk podcast, that's the audio only. This is not meant as an audio show. This is a video show. You should watch this on YouTube. But if you just want to hear the audio while you're, I don't know, going for a walk, pulling weeds, it is available as a podcast on River Talk Podcast. And we want to thank our members. We have members who are part of the show, and we have a new member today. Garrett, thanks for becoming a member. We appreciate it. And I have a trivia question for today.
Before we start, Doug, can you turn your screen a little bit so you don't get the window in your screen? That'll really help.
Yes.
Wow. Aaron giving feedback on professionalism.
There we go. Thank you.
That's a new thing.
No, not that way. Oh, God.
Come on, Doug. Come on, guys. I don't know what's going on. Garrett, no, thank you so much.
Thanks, Doug. That's so much nicer.
Yeah, and thanks, Doug. We're gonna build a studio at your house, Doug.
Okay.
Well, we should do it in the basement next to your new bathroom.
Yeah.
Once you get the bathroom done, we'll do a new studio.
Great.
Okay, I have a trivia question. The winner of today's trivia question can get one of these prizes: an emergency blanket, a pair of
because I can't really see you. You're so
all right. Here we go. The first thing is emergency blanket. You can win that. A pair of NRS Orlocks, which we do not recommend anybody use, but if you want them for like lakes or whatever, we have these. Cobra Orlocks, which we don't really recommend. I got another pair. I was in Salmon the other day fixing some gear in my warehouse. I found more, so I have tons of these to give away. We don't recommend them for whitewater, but if you did want them for, I don't know, fishing or something, we have these available. Tim Palmer's Rivers of Oregon book, or you can win this Northwest Rafting Company mug, which is pretty cool. It has rivers that we do on the back. It's a mirror cup. It's high quality. The question of the day is, and please, nobody Google this. If you Google the answer, you're just cheating. And that's just not cool. Please don't cheat. So don't Google the answer. The question is, and we're trying to I made a Colorado question because all the Colorado people
Zach, can you go back a second? That didn't look like just some ordinary, like whatever you call it. What do you call that? Like the fire blanket, or what is it called? The safety blanket?
It's an emergency blanket.
That looked like gold. Is it gold colored or is it silver?
Yeah.
That looks like one for the moon. That's cool. Is it gold better or something? I've only seen the silver ones. I've never seen the gold one.
I don't know. It says non-toxic reusable material.
Ooh.
It's probably because it's for people who care about the environment, like me. That's probably why it's
I'm sure that's why you have that. It says that very useful and necessary headwear.
Yeah, well, this is my Crazy Bill TV crown. I got it from Crazy Bill. And by the way, before we get started, please go and subscribe to Crazy Bill TV. It is entertainment like the show, and he needs subscribers. I'd highly recommend it. There's also a new YouTube channel I found called Private Whitewater, and he just got some great episodes about how to go rafting. So subscribe to Crazy Bill TV, subscribe to Private Whitewater, all kinds of stuff.
Lots of good comments.
Before we get to all these comments, lots of comments. You ready for the question? This is again because all the Colorado voters were whining because we didn't have Colorado questions. So, who or what is Gore Canyon named after? And the first member to get this right will get a prize.
Can I guess?
What Orlocks? Sawyer, you can't. Sawyer A Orlocks or the Canyon ones are the ones we like. Yeah, a lot of people love the Cobras. I'm not going to talk you out of them, but that's just after seeing a lot of people use them. Our guides hate them. Our guides I sent them a bunch of them.
Yeah, but you know what you find with companies though is guides get the like cool thing. Like everyone hates something. After we left Davis, pins and clips became not cool and everyone wanted locks. And then another generation came in, and then the locks weren't cool, and pins and clips were cool again.
That happens.
Like it's just like everyone just starts talking like
every generation of guides we have doesn't like Cobras. It's every generation. It's not just like I bought these like 15 years ago, and after the end of the season, they were in a box, and I keep finding them, and guys like, oh, we hate those. Take those off. I could go into Cobras, but we're not going to because whatever. Nick likes them, so that's good. Gold.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Zach, it's really fitting for you.
Sweet. Look, Andrew got his pins and clip stirrups.
Nice, Andrew.
Yep. Nice job.
Awesome.
Yeah, lots of good comments here. I'm not even reading them first. Canyon Orlocks. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Or the Sawyer A's are classic. I just use the Sawyer A's because they're cost less.
Didn't we discuss that NRS has one option that you actually thought was good? They have two types, and you thought one was fine and the other wasn't. No. None of them bend. None of them bend. They're all the same.
I think the old ones bend.
Oh, okay.
They're different.
Yeah, I thought
but they all don't bend. If you find a bendable pair, show me. We looked at this. You got to remember, it wasn't Mr. Gore. It wasn't Frank Gore, the running back for the Niners. It wasn't Al Gore. It wasn't George Gore. No mountain range. Or was it George? Hold on, I have it up. Hold on. It was. What is his name? Hold on. It won't. Sorry, I don't. It might be George Gore. No, I have to Google it because I don't even know. Yeah, it's Lord Saint George Gore, an aristocrat. So it looks like the first person to get it was T Money. Nice job, T Money. Just send Aaron an email to aaron@riversnotions.com. He loves
really
emails.
Haven't answered the question. Who is Lloyd George Gore?
I don't know. He's an aristocrat from somewhere. I don't even know. I just Googled it because I wanted to have a Colorado question, so all the Colorado people would just chill out.
So how do you know that's even the correct answer? Just
because I Googled it. I said Gore Canyon name in Google, and it says like Gore Pass, Gore Creek, and many other regional spinoffs. The Craggy Reach, which also touches parts of Grand and Routt counties, is named for 19th century Irish aristocrat named Lord St. George Gore. And there's an article that says Colorado's Gore Range was named after bloodthirsty 19th century aristocrat. Is it time for a change? But to read the article, you got to answer a bunch of questions, and I don't know. I just got tired of it. So anyway, yeah. So George Gore, sweet. Yeah, Lord Gore. It is Lord Gore. Anyway, you just email Aaron with what you want. I'd recommend the Tim Palmer Rivers of Oregon book, but you're probably in Colorado, so you don't care about Oregon. So I don't know. Since if you're a Colorado boater, you probably want NRS Orlocks. Yeah, some murderous dude. Good answer. Yep. Yeah. All right. Oh, cool. There you go, Aaron. Oh, well,
you did, Andrew. I'm not sure. Are you sure you sent him to the right email address?
Yeah. Do you want to say your email again, Aaron?
No, we don't need to say it again.
Oh, cool. Buffalo Mountains are Buffalo's.
Oh, here we go.
Lots of cool history. We're learning stuff every day.
Oh yeah, those are good questions. I don't know. Oh yeah, you know what? And I forwarded them on to Zach. Andrew. Yeah, I sent those to Zach. I sent them to Zach at on the 26th of June at 5:44 a.m. So there we go.
What are you talking
about?
That
was a long time ago. It was months ago. It was 2 months ago.
I think okay.
It was 2 months ago.
Yeah. I read this book about this guy that funded the second expedition following Lewis and Clark, and he sent sailing ships around South America, and his name is John Jacob Astor. He funded it, and his town of Astoria in Oregon is named after him. So he sent these two massive expeditions out. He didn't do any of it, but Astoria is named after John Jacob Astor, who lives in New York City. Great book. Oh, here we go. Here's we're learning tons here.
Wow, there you go. That's pretty cool. 2,000
Yeah.
buffalo.
Is that good or bad? I mean, back then I bet that was really good. I bet those of you that hunt are really impressed. Okay, cool. So anyway, thank you all for taking part in our trivia question. And let's move on to the first video of the week. What, are you guys ready for this?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Dougie, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You don't sound ready, Doug.
Pretty good. I have a little bit of a cold right now, so my eyes are
All right.
bugging out on me a little bit.
All right. Well, somebody sent me this video.
Ooh.
Thought this was kind of fun.
Do we know where this is?
Probably Colorado. I have no idea. I mean, it does look kind of like Colorado to me. I don't know why.
That would be my guess, but
Maybe I'm stereotyping. What was that?
ooh.
Somebody's glitchy.
Yeah, it's
glitchy
I'm
right
not, I'm
now.
not I'm just getting little bits of it. All right, T-Money, where are they then?
Sunshine Rapid. Is that where Sunshine Rapid?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
geez.
my internet might be struggling today. Let's go back to the beginning because this is, first of all, I love this video so much. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Just I got to hear and thought we should show this. Sunshine Rapid. Is it Colorado? Does anybody know? Ouch.
There's Sunshine Rapid on the Royal Gorge. That's probably what it is, right?
That makes sense. Look at that cooler in the back of their boat. They're R2ing with. Is this an overnight trip? Oh, this is awesome. Oh, I didn't get this far earlier. Yeah, this is definitely Colorado boaters.
Is that a Pozelle?
The what?
It looked like those two paddlers were. Was that a frame in that cat, or was that
No,
a?
I think it's it's what are the it's a shredder by RMR.
I thought I saw a
The
little
last
frame
boat?
on it.
Oh, it is an RMR. It is an R2 shredder.
And that one has got a frame on it,
I mean-
though. Maybe they both did, Doug.
That's a high
That
side
way.
shredder, it looks like.
Oh, is that a high side?
Oh, luckily that kayaker didn't go into him. That little shredder is adorable.
That looks
This
like
is
a
my-
perfect size craft for that day. Oh, yuck. Oh,
I mean, shouldn't they? I don't know. I don't know what they should be doing. I just feel like holding up for dear life is a bad idea. You know, like you know how I get frustrated by that? Like they're just grabbing onto the line, the OS line, and they're doing nothing proactive. Like, wouldn't you, I'm gonna pause right here. Wouldn't you? I mean, I kind of want them to swim to shore. Like right now, they're just trapped around boats, around gear.
Yeah. It's very close.
here's the question for you, though.
Yeah.
If they can't climb into the boat, how good are they going to be at swimming to shore?
Would you rather just have
Swimming
them
to shore
floating
is
onto the
easier.
boat, waiting for a pin?
No.
Swimming to
No.
shore is easier than.
I'm just saying the person who can't climb the boat is probably very scared of the idea of letting go of the boat and trying to swim to shore as well. So I think it's a difficult position to be in.
That's why, I mean, if you're scared to swim to shore, should you even be here?
That's a great question. I'm just saying I think that's common.
They might not be scared. This might be the situation that they think is they're doing the best thing, or they're just panicked a little bit. But swimming to shore is easier.
Or just let your raft go downstream and speak, yeah, we'll see you later.
They're not helping it. By holding on, they're not helping it. His feet are not up. His feet are down right now. You can't have your feet up and hold on to your line.
Yeah, that's true. Probably going to get some, some nice bruises on the shins. So
Potentially a foot entrapment.
Potentially, but I mean,
it's always just taking a chance. It's probably 1 in 1,000, but like with your feet just dangling down, you're not effectively doing anything by just holding on.
You're right. You're not doing anything, but I think I'd rather have my feet up for sure there, but I think the thing that's most probable is you banging up your shins pretty good.
Yeah, that's most probable.
Yeah.
Or like all of a sudden the boat gets, right now the boat gets perched somewhere or like broaching something, and you get trapped.
Or the boat gets stuck on rock. You go underneath the boat, get stuck underneath the boat some weird way. Yeah, I mean,
look at all this. Right here,
I'm in agreement.
This is my problem with perimeter lines. I think in a lot of cases perimeter lines are great, but people just hold on to them thinking that's what they're supposed to do.
Well, and I think that's, how do I say this? I've always been a fan for commercial trips. High water, it's nice to have a perimeter line because you're not swimming to shore high water in general. Low water, you're holding on to the boat, you're just gonna get more beat up. You're better off floating off by yourself away from the raft in a rocky rapid than you are holding to the side of the raft. Because you got that big raft, you can get dragged over rocks, you're gonna get smashed into stuff. It's just messy. So Zach, I agree with you in general. Low water trips, much less likely to have a perimeter line. That being said, I still think the perimeter lines have value at low water.
That did not look good.
At low water.
Oh yeah. For like if you get perched or you're trying to stop quickly into an eddy and hop out and grab your boat. If you're lining your boat, there's a lot of reasons. Climbing back into the raft, it's helpful. There's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but like look at this perimeter line, for example. This perimeter line is loose enough to where I don't think it's going to help them climb in the boat.
No.
As soon as you push a hand down,
it's
that perimeter line so loose is going to push down. It's not helping.
The
it's literally just there.
It can be helpful is you could push it so far down you could get your foot on it and stand up on
which is marginal.
Are marginal and sketchy. Like I'm not endorsing that. I'm just saying that would be the
So the thing I feel just so passionate about, if you're not actively getting in your boat, get away from it. If you're just holding on, like, I mean, maybe there's times like really big water, and maybe at like the high water, being near flotation is great. But here you could get smashed between a rock, you could get caught under a rock. There's so many ways you can get hurt, and just holding on, just to hold on, isn't a better place to be, in my opinion.
No, and even at high water, I'll say my dad tore like a ligament in his shoulder, like tore it off holding onto the boat, like when they flipped in Horn. So yeah, he would have been better off just swimming. And he was trying to hold onto the boat, and it was just like, he totally tore himself up. No, you're right. I mean, in general, you're better off just swimming. Honestly, I would say on high volume rivers, you're better off not even being in a raft, just swimming the rapid. That's the safest way to run the raft, is probably just to swim it.
So we're hearing there's an eddy at the bottom, which there hopefully is. I mean, it's that guy with the rope seems very casual. Do
you think that guy knows what he's doing with the ropes? Right there. Is that giving you confidence in the customer best with flip flops on and pants?
The flip flops are.
The whole scene is just very interesting.
He's holding it right. He's holding the rope right, correctly. Like he looks like he's knows, by the way he has the rope back, that looks like he knows what he's doing. He's probably just borrowed a customer vest for the day. He kind of has a look of a guide, but the flip flop thing, are those jeans? I don't even know. Who knows?
This is definitely Monday morning quarterbacking at our best right now.
That's what we do. This is not education. This is just
this is a really good moment in it, though. I'm just really loving this moment. So
yeah, I'm in a mood. I'm in a bad mood today. I'm ready to like talk some shit. Wow,
you dropped an S-bomb. Usually we're PG here, Zach.
I don't know. I'm just in a mood today. I'm frustrated.
So we didn't really.
I've had a couple of run-ins.
How was it? Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. How's their boat spacing?
We could talk about your run-ins. I was going to ask, what do you think of the boat spacing when they're running that rapid?
It seemed fine. No, I deleted it. I didn't want to.
Well, because they were running on top of each other, though. So was their boat spacing fine? Because remember the two boats were like flipped on top of each other and everything. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, at least they weren't too far away. And they probably were too close. I'd rather be too close than too far away, right? Like I'd rather have that occasional pileup than somebody swims and you can't get to them. So it's a trade-off, and we don't know how they entered the rapid. Like they might have entered the rapid with a great boat spacing,
but Zach,
in rapid had a problem.
From what I saw, the first three rafts were all in doomsday, right? There was no raft that was going to rescue anyone for the first three boats.
Yeah,
the first three boats all have problems. And so like being closer there didn't help, created more problems, and there's no one to rescue them. So you got 3 boatloads of people just floating down. I agree in general, it makes sense to have close boat spacing. I'd rather be a little too close than too far away. But I could see for that group, then they come to a different conclusion. Hey, we need to run farther apart because the one boat ran into the other, caused a bunch of problems, caused a lot of swimmers. And we had so many swimmers in the water at the same time.
I'm guessing there was an eddy above this. I don't know. I've never done this run. But like,
well, I think we can all agree there's probably an eddy above there.
Yeah. So I probably would have sent the best boater down first. So the person who's probably not going to go in that hole and get beat down. And they gave the first boat more spacing. Maybe that wasn't their best boater. Maybe their best boater made a mistake. But send the first boater down first, have a boater downstream to run downstream safety, and some people one at a time. That's probably what I would have chosen to do.
So you would have run one boat down by themselves.
I would have run 2. Well, it depends. If it's like somebody I would have sent a kayaker down if that kayaker looked good. I mean, there's a lot of ways to. I don't know.
By the way, I'm going to say this. I'm not the greatest kayaker, but I do not like in a rapid like that being in amongst a bunch of rafts in the middle of them. That is ugh. I'd rather go at the end or like have a ton of space. Like have 2 boats go. Give me some space, guys. Let me run the rapid, then you come down. Because too ugly. Yeah, too many bad things.
Of course, we weren't there, so we're just doing what we do, making things up about.
As you said, this is not for education purposes.
Oh. But the part about not just holding on to your boat for dear life until somebody rescues you, that's education right there. I'm going to put that in the education folder.
All right. Well, we got some more comments here.
All right. Boat spacing okay, but rafts above. Yeah.
That's a good point. Sean, that's a really important point. Is like they do need to be able to, you need to give enough space that you can catch an eddy and not drop in someone who's surfing a hole. If you know a feature is surfable, it's going to surf rafts. And so you need to know that, hey, I can move around the boat if it's stuck in the hole, or I can catch an eddy above it. Or you probably want to give some extra space.
I found it again if you're going to watch it.
Up to you. Or are you ready? You said you're all fired up about something, Zach. I kind of wanted to hear what you're all fired up about.
I'm fired about everything right now. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
I mean, this isn't he flipped, whatever. My question I just thought of, if I get the audio down.
He got in the eddy there.
Did other two?
Would you have jumped on the raft as it went by?
Yeah. So that boat went. If he could have, but now I forgot. Did these guys flip or did they just fall out? This boat flip too? I don't know why
they don't seem very confident in terms of surfing their boat, like they've done much surfing.
Yeah.
This is the way they're moving around.
Okay, so that guy's trying to eddy out, but then
there's 2 of them. That one pushes. There's like 2 right
that
next
one
to
flips.
each other.
Yeah. So I don't know. How did they fall out of the blue boat?
When the other boat came in.
What happened to make them fall? They jump out? Wait, what happened there? They're hanging out. How do they fall out? Man, that
was
tough.
Weird. You're right. Well, I'm going to say this. In general, it's best to stay in your raft. And I think this is a classic example of that. That hurts. Oh.
That one too.
Oh. That dude from the green hat. Oh, the green helmet. Oh, yeah. You know,
casual. He has that look like I'm high
the other thing I'll say too is like having a line on your boat that makes it so you can climb back in is really helpful, like a thwart line or something like that to help climb back in the boat.
Inside the boat.
I know. Yeah, climb inside the boat. You know what I mean? Have your boat set up because like they don't have any lines to help with that. And I'm guessing the person in the green helmet is one of the people from that boat. There at least one of the 2 people on the side of the boat they're R2ing was from that boat. And I feel like if you're R2ing, both people ideally can climb back into the raft on their own. I mean, that's
ideally at least one can. Do you think, if you were to guess, do you think alcohol's involved?
No, I wouldn't guess that. I mean, let me rephrase that. I bet there's been drinking on the water, but I don't think alcohol caused that to happen. I've seen that happen enough times with sober boaters to feel like that's not necessarily. It doesn't help, but yeah.
All right. You want to watch some more video?
Doug, what do you think?
I don't think alcohol was involved.
Okay. I mean, they had a big cooler. That was an awfully big cooler for a day trip.
That's true.
And I mean, Colorado boaters aren't known for sober boating.
Oh,
So
really?
that's
not
that was Royal Gorge. Where's that?
Colorado.
Okay, because there's one up on the North Fork American too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like
there's
class
a-
5+.
That's what I was thinking you were talking about.
Yeah, those guys are not on that Royal
Uh,
Gorge. Yeah. You don't have to be drunk to suck.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it
Or
certainly helps.
you don't have to be drunk to make bad decisions on the river. That's what I mean. I've seen a lot of sober people make some really.
I mean, those weren't. I don't think they made that bad of decisions. I'm not going to get at them for their
I'm going to
decision
say the
making.
one thing with somehow those two cats were trying to run into the drop at the same time when someone else was already surfing the hole.
Yeah, they
Which-
could have.
And there's something in there is like,
Yeah.
you guys. I don't know how you ended up there, but I'm guessing there was some decisions
Yeah.
that could have
Something-
been made upstream that would have made that better.
I mean, we didn't see it was upstream, but like usually how that happens is if you're doing things right, is a boat gets stuck and another boat hits it off, and they both come down together.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't. Yeah, entering a rapid together is a bad idea, even without a boat surfing in front of you. Yeah. Anyway, that was some
So
fun.
let's get back to Zach being fired up. What's up, Zach?
Just all kinds of stuff. Just all kinds.
You're punchy today, huh?
I mean, it's the Middle Fork. It has fires and log jams. The Rogue is on fire, and it's complicated. Colorado boaters have been really annoying me lately, so I'm just like in like multiple levels. So just I don't know, lots of little things. There we go. That's where I thought the orange cats. My guess is that one of them was stuck, the other one hit them off, and then they came down together.
Yep. But
They need a beer and they need an ice pack.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, some serious bruising.
Hey,
All right.
Do you guys hang out with Colorado boaters much? People from Colorado. Now, I've learned about Colorado boaters lately. There's like really good commercial guides in Colorado, right?
I was gonna say, haven't you hired a bunch of Colorado boaters?
Yeah, they're great.
I feel like last year you're singing the praises that you're only going to hire guys from Colorado.
Like I say that, I think there's some very good professional guides in Colorado. I think there's some great companies that put out great guides.
Didn't Courtney guide in Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's one of them. But there's what I'm going to call Colorado boaters who are like don't really guide. Maybe they guide, but they're like private boater types who I don't know what's going on with them. Every time I run into them, there's something going on. But there's also like desert boaters. So there's the Colorado people I've learned who live on the west side of Colorado, who mainly do like the desert rivers, and they're usually pretty chill. And they consider themselves desert boaters, not Colorado boaters. I learned that. So anyway, I don't want to piss off a bunch of Colorado people right now. Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, Junior, we're launching our trip tomorrow. No, the 28th, and we flew everything. We're flying everything in right now as we speak. They get on airplanes flying into Indian Creek. It's rough right now.
Seems like
All right, you guys want to
self-support kayak trip or something like that, inflatable kayak trip or something would be awesome.
fly in with duckies and do a simple like backpacking style trip.
Why can't you start at the top then if you had duckies and just carry around those things?
I think they'll let you. I think it's harder than it sounds. I think for if you're Aaron Cavagnolo and you're just like I'll carry my ducky around stuff, sure, but not everybody's into portaging and dealing with wood.
Yeah.
But if you did, you could fly into Indian with duckies, be pretty cheap.
That's true.
8 people, 8 duckies.
Yeah, you could just go really light too. You could just do a really light run, but you do have to bring your fire pan because I know you have to have a fire pan on a river trip. You're not allowed to go and not make fires. Did you know that, Doug?
I did not.
Yeah, you're required to. If you want to do a self-support trip on the Middle Fork Salmon, you have to bring a fire pan, or you can't go. They will not let you go downstream without a fire pan.
And is an oil changing pan count?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it does.
A lot of people take those like the lasagna ones and kind of fold them down and then they can open them up. But it's pretty funny. You have to have fires.
You don't have to have fires. You have to have
And
fire.
then in California, you're not allowed to bring a fire pan. You're not allowed to have fires. Some years you're not even allowed to use a gas stove down in the river, and then in Idaho you always have to bring a fire pan.
Yeah, because there's people that don't, and then they start fires in the ground. And so the Forest Service is like, we want to protect the camps. I'm into this rule. Because people don't intend to have fires, and they need to have a fire and just do it on the ground. And then, I mean, Dougie and I believe in the leave no trace principle, so we think it's important. I know how you are about those.
No, that's why leave no trace would be to have no fire. So that's leaving less of a trace.
Minimize the impacts of campfire.
Yes.
So wait, what? The actual leave no trace principle is minimize campfire impacts.
Yeah.
You minimize them by having a fire pan.
Yeah, but if you're really about leave no trace, you just wouldn't even have fires, because then you wouldn't be taking wood out of the canyon and burning it. And that's not a natural occurrence of us coming in there and doing that and building all these fires every time we stop at these camps.
It's not eliminate campfire impact; it's minimize campfire impact, Aaron.
But not having one is.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about some individuals' rules. I'm talking bigger pictures. That.
But the reason they do it is because some people don't bring the fire pan, and then they make a fire. And so it's like, unfortunately, we have to like deal with the lowest common denominator. We have rules based on people who don't follow the rules. Right?
Rules for people who don't follow the rules.
Well, for people that are not respectful, we all have to abide by rules.
Now let me ask another question.
Respectful.
If I were to hike down, get a permit to hike down the middle of drainage and camp along the river, would I need to bring a fire pan?
I don't think you need a permit. You can just do it.
I can just do it. Do I need to bring a fire pan?
No.
Okay.
I don't. But hiking is different. Hikers haven't.
You can't be at the same spots.
No, hikers haven't. These rules exist because people in the past have not been respectful. If hikers were disrespectful, there'd be rules based on them too. But hikers probably
hikers are
fire
always
rings and creating campfire problems.
All right, we got some more
talking about?
comments.
Three turkey roasting pans, not just one, three. That's what I brought before. I'm a big fan of that oil pan.
So that you can like turn one upside down on top?
Just probably for volume. Like people have probably brought one in the past and then they've used it and they've left.
I'm going to say this. Most people I see use the fire pans. Their wood falls off the side and the coals fall off the side anyways.
Yeah.
And it makes a mess.
Get a fire blanket. It's now, I think it's about to be required. You have to have a fire blanket, which is what we use.
There we go. More regulation.
We have to, it's because people have fires and they fall off the side, Aaron. That's exactly why.
Now you're in your kayak, you're gonna have to bring that too. So you're probably gonna have to bring a gas stove, even if you bring in all cold food.
I think that's a good question. Do kayakers have to have a fire blanket? It's a good question. I haven't thought about that.
Probably gonna have to.
There should be a different set of regulation for kayakers because kayakers usually are more respectful.
They have to have this. They have the same requirements for the fire pan. It has to be a certain width, a certain depth.
Yeah. It's a regulation that came down from the top. That was like, all Middle Fork permits have to do this, right? And so the top doesn't realize hard shell kayakers are different. And so then there's not like a hard shell kayaker lobby who's like saying, well, we should be allowed to do this. So they have to follow the same rules because some people before have been not respectful. Oil pans count. That's great. Oil pans are sweet.
The plastic ones?
Turkey pan or pot. No. You're in a mood, Aaron. We're not even going to get to our topic because we're just going to brush my footprints off. Did you really?
No, I don't think so. But
It
no one
sounds
could
like
have better memory than me.
It's not like bringing a groover.
Yeah, I don't think. Do you even have to bring a groover on the Mill Fork?
Yes.
On the Selway, you don't. I don't think you have to bring a groover on the Selway.
You should.
I know, it's kind of funny.
That sounds disgusting. Like there's hands keep the heat off the ground. I don't think they make you do that, but that's probably a decent idea.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You don't want to sterilize this.
I mean, when you I've used oil pans a bunch, and when you make a fire in an oil pan, it makes the ground kind of black and kills everything underneath. So you want to do something thoughtful. Look at that, right?
We used to put one upside down and one right side up to keep a spacing in there.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, that's a smart thing. That's super smart. It's an elevated fire pan.
So where are grease bombs on all the whole leave no trace?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Um,
Really, Doug?
They're probably not that bad.
Zach, what do you
Wait, hold
think?
on, Aaron. I lost my internet for a second. What did you ask?
I said, where do grease bombs lie on the leave no trace? And Doug says they're not that bad. He's like, I don't think they're that bad.
No, don't do grease. Please don't do grease bombs, people. Please.
Yeah, don't start a
Please.
fire.
I think they're worse than fires. Like they're really fun.
They're
but
worse than fires.
They leave grease all over the rock.
Yeah. It specifically
right.
says in the leave no trace principles, don't leave grease behind. It's in the principles. It's written down. I forget which principle.
It's been a long time since I've done that. I didn't remember they left grease everywhere.
Oh yeah.
I was just thinking the explosion.
There's people who feel like river trips equal grease bombs, and that's not true. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, do a grease bomb at home. Don't, like, you can do it at home too. Don't do it in the middle of the wilderness where we can catch a place on fire and like trash our camps. Please, please, please don't.
But they're really fun. If you haven't had a chance to try one out.
Do
They're
I want
super
everyone to
dangerous, too.
shit in the woods? I mean, I don't know. Do you want everybody to shit in the woods?
No.
I
What's
want
the
people.
question?
No, I don't want to be like the Grand Canyon Bowl where they put the little yellow sticks everywhere everyone pooped when they dig their cat holes, and so you know not to dig in the same spot, and it'll be covering half the beach. No.
Is that Aaron? Is that backpackers in the canyon?
No. This is back with commercial trips, like back in the 70s.
Yeah, and when I was in Nepal, that we would just dig a cat hole and everybody poop in the cat hole, and
Yeah.
there was no stake in, just poop in the cat hole. And
There was
hopefully
one
find a
cat
new
hole for everybody.
That's
for
what we
the-
did
for
in
every
China
trip.
too. We dig a huge hole, and then you have to know because we did like 5 trips, and you'd like mark the old one,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then high water would come through and wash it all out for the next year. But yeah,
I think with big sandy beaches and high where the water changes, it's not the worst thing. But I mean, I don't on river trips that are on rivers that are managed. Yeah, I don't want people pooping everywhere. I
Yeah.
think if you're a backpacker or if you're in areas that aren't there aren't a lot of people, I think it's appropriate to shit in the woods.
So I do have a question since Doug is our master in LNT, Zach. So what's the preferred if you're pooping in the woods? Do you dig a cat hole or you do the smear method on a rock? What's the optimal?
I mean, I think the right answer is it depends on the surface, what you're
Okay.
camping on. But digging a hole is almost always better.
Oh,
I think
really?
glacial and like alpine smearing is not bad. Like if you
really can't dig a hole,
yeah.
or do you just drop a rock on top of it so no one can really see it?
No, I mean, no, that's not the best because then somebody's gonna pick up the rock and like that's happened to me in Baja a lot. Ugh. But no, dig a hole.
Hey, Dougie, how do you explain to us how you clean yourself up afterwards too?
Oh, Zach loves my bidet method.
You bidet. What do you mean bidet method? Use water?
It's
I use
bidet in
water.
quotes. It's bidet in quotes.
So
you use water from your water bottle, or do you go over to a creek and just
no,
drop
I
your
know.
butt in the creek?
Let him
You
talk,
want-
Aaron.
You don't want to be near a creek. You're still the requisite 100, 300 yards from water, I think, whatever it is. No, you have your water bottle. You pour some water on your hands, and then you wipe yourself. And then you have soap with you, and you wash your hands very well. But it's super clean. It's like taking a shower after going to the bathroom. It's great.
How much water do you use of your potable water?
I have a baby Nalgene, which is a half a liter, and I use up one of those usually.
What happens if you have 2 poops? Or you
Well,
just
no,
use
you
creek water? You just use creek water out of that one.
Yeah.
Do you bring a separate one?
No.
Doug,
use
have you
creek water.
ever used the stick method or the rock method?
To wipe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we taught at Outward Bound. It was awesome. I didn't know about before. And
I
now
like the bidet method.
What do you,
Way
hey,
better.
what do you do with the rocks?
Well, you
just
got to
leave
find
them.
you just like
They
kind of
go-
leave them, but you find the
They
right
go in
shaped
the
rock.
hole.
Well, if you have a hole, or I just would just kind of chuck them, depending where it was.
You just chuck them, huh, Aaron?
Well,
if
if there was like a steep hill or something that no one was gonna be around, I just
you're just gonna guess where nobody is. There's probably nobody there. I'll just chuck them where I don't think anybody
Those
is.
No,
should
but
go-
the
those
stick.
should
I'm gonna
go-
say this.
There's poor rock climbers who are rock climbing that thing and the poopy rocks are being thrown on
No,
them.
not like that. Not like a sheer cliff where the people at the bottom of it. It's like just something where you could tell where people aren't going to go, or it's thick. It's like thick area, like no one's going in there. I'll just throw it in those bushes. So
But
I throw it in the bushes, but the stick method actually works really well too. If you take the bark off a stick, that's a great method.
Yeah.
I could at first. I'm like, I can't believe we're making.
It depends what you have. Sometimes you have a stick, sometimes you have rocks.
Sometimes
It's
shells
great.
are pretty awesome.
Yeah, because like
Shells.
the problem with the
The
kids, is
bidet
they-
method is
The
pretty
bidet
clean.
method.
I like the bidet method.
Yeah, that's a lot of water, though. I mean, aren't we trying to conserve
And
water
you have
out
to
west
get,
here?
and you're getting poop
No.
on your hands. Wait, you're
If
getting
you're
over the
like-
fact that you're using your hand to clean
you're-
poop on your butt.
If you're in, don't you use your hand in the shower?
No.
No,
I do.
no. Well, first of all,
Let's get a little personal, Dougie.
yeah.
Well, anyways,
Sorry. this
yeah,
is
bidet
going
method's
down.
way cleaner.
I bet we
and-
got some good comments here.
Okay.
All right, let's get the comments. I'm pretty sure it sounds like Dougie
It might be me.
to have done that.
It
Yeah.
might be me.
Is the fire pan requirement for safety? Don't have to have a campfire. Yeah, I think the reason everybody should have a fire pan on the middle fork. We want to protect the camps, and so just in case you have to have a fire for safety reasons, that's a good reason too. Brian, thanks for becoming a member. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Michael, I
thank you.
appreciate this comment because it makes Aaron just
Yeah,
Use
I mean,
words.
come on. And once again, the backpackers should carry one too in case they need to warm them up.
whatever. They're not camping the river camps. They're camping somewhere else. You have to take a
Oh,
Uber.
thanks,
Hey,
Jesse.
Wait,
Thanks.
Aaron, as a Subway guide, as a Subway trip leader, shouldn't you be required to know that, Aaron? Your
Not
your
really,
license
because
says
we
you
bring
might know to be a
a
trip leader of
groover and a
Subway.
fire pan on every
Okay.
trip.
I think
bring
you
a
should have
groover
to.
and a fire
I
pan.
think you should get a
We used to
demerit.
actually have. We used to like the old river manager that used to get mad at us about our fire pan. And we didn't even have to bring a fire pan, and she would get mad about the fire pan that we brought. It was kind of funny.
Okay,
Let me
well,
go back to pooping for 1 second.
okay, great.
Ideally, bury anything you wipe with because the goal is to not spread giardia, I think. So
Bury your hand.
no.
But I don't have giardia, Doug.
You don't know if you have giardia or not, Aaron.
If you bury it, it'll break down better. You
It
could
breaks
make
down.
giardia,
Doesn't it break down better in sunlight and with fresh air?
but any rain could have surface runoff into the water, and then it'll be in the waterways pretty quickly.
This is why he's a leave no trace master educator, and you're a
And we want to
Subway trip leader with a demerit.
But if you
Keep it out of
dig
the
a hole and put all these poopy rocks in a hole, won't they just sit there forever, just being poopy?
No,
They'll never get clean.
they'll break down.
And
I
then
mean,
what
it
happens
depends on
when
the
the person
the ground, but
needs a rock to wipe with?
All right, guys, we had topics to get to. We got to move
Okay.
through some of his comments to get
Okay.
done. So
yeah, wag bags are not bad.
I bet you not
Yeah.
bad. The problem is if everybody uses wag bags on the road, the
Didn't
the
they make them illegal
trash
on the
can
road?
at takeout is
Yeah.
full of wag bags.
Aren't they illegal on the road now or something like that?
Because of that, I think they're
Yeah.
because the problem is if everybody's using wag bags and they all throw them in the same trash, it's not sanitary.
And people
So-
put way too much poop in the wag bag. The ratio of poop like to the little chemical stuff is a lot of times not appropriate.
I mean, I've had those things zip tight to where there's barely like anything coming out of them full of poop. But you can't put them all in the same thing, so they're not always the best for river trips.
You mean
But
like
they're good to have as a
multiple people
backup.
will go in one?
Yeah, you do 4 poops in a wag bag.
Yeah.
But-
Okay.
yeah.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Like on the
You got
Chedco, we
lucky.
do that.
What do you do on the Pacheco?
On the Chedco, we do 4 poops in a wag bag. So on the toilet, on the way to toilet, if there's a stack of 3 rocks,
Yeah.
the 4th person has to say they're done, and guys will come and we'll zip it up and put a new one. We'll set a new one up.
Do you have this? You have the big wag bags or the small bag bags?
There's
Small,
only one
probably.
size.
There's multiple size wag bags.
Oh, really? I don't know. They're
Yeah.
pretty big. They're like
Yeah,
this big.
there's the personal wag bag, and then there's the like group wag bags.
Just group
Yeah,
wag
they
bags.
comes with a little seat for it.
I never
yeah.
heard of group web bags.
I don't.
I think
there is.
Davis
I have.
used a group one. Yeah, the group Davis, UC Davis was using the group ones when I did
like
trip
sea
with them up
kayaking or
in-
something?
Maybe there too. We did trip up on the Fraser, and they were using them. And
I
Yeah, we
know a
have
lot
one.
about wag bags. I know way too much about wag bags. I've never heard of different sizes.
I think there's 2 sizes because there's the personal
I don't-
ones that they like
No,
give
no,
out
they're
when you're
all-
like
there's-
hiking
I
with
think
you.
the personal ones, I think they're the same. It's just the personal ones are made for 4 poops, but they call them personal ones.
Yeah, I don't think
Really?
there's 2 sizes there. Good luck finding that. Burn the poop. Have you guys ever burned poop?
No.
That doesn't sound like
I
a
haven't.
good idea.
It's not that bad. It's actually not that bad. Campers need a hard-sided steel container with locking lid. I mean, you don't need that, but you probably want that. You probably want a hard-sided. And what we do is we bring a bucket with a gamma lid,
Yeah.
and we fill the wag
Nah,
bags.
Yeah, we did a
Don't do it.
soft-sided with
That is-
Davis. We
that's
put
what
them in a soft-sided one. It's fine.
We use a
There's
dry bag
good-
sometimes.
And
It's
then
good
you
enough
put,
for
put a
Davis.
trash pack. We put a trash compactor
Trash
bag
compactor bag.
inside the dry bag,
Mhm.
and then just put them in. And you just roll the dry bag down, and that way you just roll it less and less. And we had one of those really long ones that were like this big in diameter. They work great. Oh yeah. At the end, you just pull out the whole trash compactor bag and
Oh, that's you just go into a trash can, right? Not just outside the window as you're
or you
driving
can
down
do
the
the
road.
old method where you get all the poop out into the draw.
I'm a big fan. We do these. We use the 5-gallon buckets with the gamma lids, and you just put them in there and lock the gamma lid, and then I just throw the whole bucket away because I've tried cleaning them before. After you have 4 days of wag bags in a bucket, you cannot get that smell out.
Put a
You just
trash
cannot.
compactor bag in it.
It's a good idea.
I bet it will still smell, but can't you
It's
just
not
use that
way
same
less,
next
and then
time?
you just use
They're
that.
pretty
for dog
gross. I just throw the gamma lid thing away.
The
I'm
trash
normally
compactor
more
bags are
environmental. They're amazing, but you on the Chetco, I mean, boats can flip and go upside down, and things, people get tossed. Like you want no chance of a wag bag getting smashed and poop flying everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds dangerous though with the hard shelled container that they could get hit by it. Seems like I'd rather have a
No.
soft dry bag that's kind of like.
They were no.
Use it as a pillow.
No.
A warm pillow. Yeah, a warm pillow at night. There you go, Doug.
I thought I was in a mood today. You guys are something
Experience.
else.
You know what?
There
I'm
you
gonna
go.
say Sean's usually right when he speaks up. Berry poo never breaks down. I've heard that. Yeah.
Wait, berry poo never breaks down? It's not
It doesn't
plastic.
really break down properly. Yeah.
It
What?
takes longer.
It takes longer, but it breaks down.
Way longer.
Wait, 6 months long? Or like this isn't like we're burying plastic or burying uranium. It's poop. It breaks down eventually.
Yeah. It will break down eventually, but it could be what, 10 years? I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
It's not 10 years. Come on, it's gotta be like 6 months.
Well, I'm worried about dog poop.
More than 6 months.
I have dog poop in my backyard that breaks down in like 2 weeks. Like pretty
They're
close.
saying
It's
it takes
almost
up to
gone.
a year. They're saying it takes
this
up
is-
to it takes
he's
Up
talking
to a
about-
year. So it's up to a year. So it's probably really 6 months.
What are you talking about, Aaron?
Oh, he's good in the answer. We're not going to get to anything because these questions are too much. We're learning a lot, though. I'm going to change the title of this episode to poop. Forest Service approved self-support kayak rules for a low-flow middle flow sandwich of 3 turkey roasting pans, plastic garden trowel, collapsible bucket, wag bags, poop tube, cheesecloth. Huh, interesting. That's cool. They have special self-support kayak rules. That's nice. He always has Dougie.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get to know you too.
No, yeah, thanks.
Dougie's not that cool. So eventually.
Yeah, right.
The shitty commentary. Yeah, no, it's worth more than that. It's worth $2.19. Bidet. Yeah, oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Dougie's been telling me about this for years, and I refuse to do the bidet method.
It's yeah. Well,
The Rogue, they are handy. Really?
Really? Whoa, that's interesting, Brian.
Amazing.
That's
There
contrary to the other version I've heard. That is actually not that surprising. Which ranger station is it? The BLM one that's handing them out, and is it like the Forest Service has one set of regulations and BLM has another? Who manages takeout?
No. The BLM, the Forest Service manages takeout. I was at a meeting
BLM's probably
where they
giving
talked
them
about wag bags.
Forest Service is probably no.
Yeah, the BLM, but are they still, Brian? Are they still doing that? Because I thought they stopped. I remember at a meeting where they were like, "Dude, stop it with the wag bags. The trash is just basically full of poop. It's not sanitary." Not enough bacteria in the soil to degrade a poop. Oh, interesting. That's a good. I mean, this is where having people like Dougie that know things like this. So in the desert, Dougie, is a smear method the way to go?
I don't know the answer, but I still bury it in the desert just for future visitors. I mean, it depends on if you're going to a place where there's lots of people coming through. If there's lots of people
on the
coming through,
surface, you just want the water hit, and then the wind just to like blow it all into the air and just scatter it around.
yeah, but that's going to be a
what's gonna
place
happen.
where there's not people coming very often. But if you're going to a place where there's people coming fairly frequently,
Like if you're walking out to Delicate Arch, what are you gonna do?
I'm asked this, Doug. I'm asked this too. It must depend what you eat. If I'm eating a bunch of McDonald's and MSG,
I don't think it makes that much difference.
And versus if I've got the vegan diet and I don't eat any meat, I bet my poop's pretty clean, and it probably just goes.
Aaron
Here's
has organic.
another
Here's
method
poop.
on the ocean. So I know we're a rafting show, but sometimes people will do the shit put, which is you poop on a rock and then throw it in the ocean. What do y'all think of that?
I think when you're sailing, you do a lot of sketchy things, Dougie. Because last time you were here, we talked about this. You were throwing glass in the ocean too.
Yeah.
We used to do that occasionally, yeah.
And you probably just, when you're in the middle of a crossing, you just drop your butt off the side and drop.
We do that
the long
occasionally.
Drop and
Yeah.
just poop straight in the ocean.
Not very often. That one's not very often. But if you had an emergency,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what cruisers, yachters do. Is they grind up their poo with a macerator and then pump it out the back of the boat.
Sean, this makes sense.
Yeah.
At elevation definitely makes a difference. I haven't pooped above 10,000 feet that often. It's pretty rare. I wonder what Mount Whitney's like. Like people are like you camp at like don't you camp at like 11,000 at that base camp below the summit, and tons
Something
of
like
people
that.
stay there. I bet it's just poop everywhere.
Well, I remember on Shasta we used to use effectively wag bags.
Just zip
They
locks.
wanted you to carry it out. This is before wag bags probably, but remember when Zach? We didn't do Shasta together, but
No.
yeah, but then they raised some money to put in an outhouse up there. No, that's what they had. They had an outhouse that was not very good, and they raised money to put in a better outhouse.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago or so.
Yeah. For the sake of river rafting, we're really never even close to 10,000 feet or like boating. But yeah, I think pooping at high elevation, that makes sense. I'm learning a ton here. Poop reef, the gamma lid. The gamma lid bucket's great because you just have a bunch of poopy bags in there and they don't open. It's pretty gross. Yeah, the Americans just pooped in the woods.
That's
wow, 6 days ago they gave you wag bags. I mean, I'm happy. In one way, I'm happy because I don't want people pooping in the woods. And on the Rogue, there's a history of people just pooping in the woods more than there should be. So I'm happy about that. I feel bad for the dumpsters because those dumpsters are probably just full of wag bags, and that's pretty.
And what's the problem with that, though? I mean, I'm
it's
not
not
saying
sanitary. It's like there's a reason why we put poop in RV dump stations. Like all that poop going to just to go into the dump is not a good
with
thing.
the chemicals they put in it, it's fine.
Supposedly, it's fine if there's like 1 or 2 egg bags, but when there's like 50 of them,
who's it not sanitary for? The person picking it up or people?
I don't think it's
dump?
good to have the dump full of poop.
Yeah.
I don't think our dumps should be full of poop. Like I think that's pretty gross, and it's not properly like the poop needs to go through like a proper whatever system that handles it, not just going to the dump.
A wastewater treatment plant, or a septic tank or something like that.
I mean, the landfill is usually lined pretty well, so stuff doesn't leach.
Yeah, that's interesting. You got to pack out your poop in Utah. Oof, brutal.
Yeah. Untreated sewage. Yeah. And in rivers too.
And I'm gonna say, when I was working in China, we just pooped in a creek that flowed right in the river, just a feet from where we put in. So we go paddle down. We were kayaking through our own poop. It was rather gross.
I saw toilet paper on the Reventazon in Costa Rica floating in the river. So it's pretty happened. It smells. Whitney's. I can just imagine. There's a crapper on top of Whitney.
I think I remember that too. I can't remember.
Wow. I think you'd want it at the base camp. I mean, at the top, how many people? I mean, pooping at the top is not a good thing either.
So the paper bags he was saying at Shasta, that's not even a wag bag. So that's you poop on in a paper bag and then put that in a Ziploc.
So this makes sense, Brian. Yeah, I think that just makes sense. What they didn't want is everybody using wag bags for everything because that's a lot of wag bags and it gets gross. Diaper.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah,
I think one of the big issues is the quantity.
The quantity of poop, like a little bit here and there is okay, but when it's like all the poop from all the trips, it's a bit much. So I guess what happened, if I remember right, on the Rogue was the company that takes care of the waste at takeout was like, this is way too much poop.
Yeah,
like, you guys gotta. They came to the Forest Service and said, if you still want us to take your trash away, this poop thing's got to get solved. Like one time, so I did a Chetco trip once, and I had like 4 wag bags, maybe more. Like I had a bucket full of wag bags, and I just put the wag bags in my trash at home, and then was hoping they would take it. And the trash company left me a note said, we will not take your trash and just poop in it. So I had to pull the wag bags out of my trash, and then go to the dump and throw them away at the dump myself. So if they also like we have 2 dogs. We have a lot of dog poop. One day there was so much dog poop, and they're like, we're not taking all this dog poop to the dump. You gotta dispose of dog poop differently.
That's how they used to do Grand Canyon. That's the pre-wag bag method was what Sean was just talking about there. The kitty litter in the paper bag.
Yeah.
You tear open one paper bag, drop it in the middle, and then you kind of fold it up and put it inside another paper bag, and then put it in like a Ziploc or something.
Yeah. Which is how we used to do. Yeah, we used to do the emergency poops in the canyon. The day poops.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, just want to watch some videos. Move on from this
move on
shitty topic. So the first one.
We're at an hour and we've watched one video.
I know. So I want to follow up on school. We can talk about Skull Rapid a lot.
This is the new What's that rapid?
Before we get to Skull.
This is the new wind. Skull is the new wind footage.
I just think we've gotten so much feedback from people or so many thoughts. I found some more videos and they keep popping up my feed. I thought these were interesting. I can't remember why. I haven't watched them for a while. That's it. This is not a hard rapid. Look at that. This is a downstream ferry. This is all you do. Downstream ferry, break that lateral, and you're done.
The person's pulling, and now they're pushing.
Yeah, that's exactly, and this is how I feel like this is
that's a classic line right there. Like that's a move that, you know, if you're a solid class 4 boater, you can do that consistently. Downstream ferry, spin around, go over a drop.
Exactly, like that eddy. Right? Can you see my cursor right now?
Yeah.
You're basically shooting to put your stern in this eddy, and you get your stern down the eddy, and the boat will turn on its own and you go straight down that side. This is, to me, like you said, Aaron, quintessential class 4 boating. That's a class 4 move right there. And I feel like not enough people are doing that move in the real world.
That's a nice line, yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's the first one. We got a few more of these. Let's go to this one. This is a top-down view. From the audio down. So this is higher water. This is 10,000 CFS. So looking at it from I love this drone footage. It's so cool. What would you, Aaron or Dougie, be thinking right now? What's the move here?
I don't know. I'm not excited about their angle. I'll just put it that way.
They might change it still. What would your angle be? What would you be doing right now?
I have my angle like would be perpendicular to the current right now, with my butt pointed towards the left shore, because I know I'm probably going to pull left if that's the same rapid we were just looking at.
Same rapid, but that last one was lowish water. This is 10,000.
So they might be going middle here.
I don't know.
The right looks good, but you know down below there's the room of doom.
Yeah.
So right.
I mean, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, you just break that lateral on a downstream ferry.
On the right, going river right or river left?
On the river left, that lateral right there.
Yeah.
So right now he's shooting the V. So instead of shooting the V, I would be like 8 feet to his left on a downstream ferry.
You can see there's a kind of a soft spot in that in the lateral.
Yeah, and you're done. Like you'd be basically done with the
but you gotta start way up high, and I think most people try to cut below. You need to hit that top wave. You have to break that top lateral too.
You have to break the top lateral.
Ooh.
Whoa, this is cool footage.
That's a bigger feature. You can't see from the top.
This worked out fine.
Their line was good. If they just hit that one down at the bottom, pointing a little more right, it would have worked out fine.
But I think my point is, I think the point we made a few weeks ago on Skull was, this is basically a right to left move on the downstream ferry at any flow. That's what I'm seeing. And of course, we're uneducated. We're idiots. We don't know what we're talking about. But like,
would you go, Zach? You go stern first over the lateral, or would you push?
I'd break. I'd pull. Yeah. I'd start. You guys can see my. I'd start. Let's go back. And again, we fully admit we are armchair quarterbacks watching video from our office, and we're naive and entitled boaters. With that said, I'd start. Let's say like do you guys see my cursor?
Not yet. You have to move it.
Oh, sorry. Something weird's happened to the computer today.
Yeah, I can't see that. Yep.
Okay, so I'd start like maybe 10 feet over here to his right.
Left. To his right.
And then I would build momentum from the
Okay.
right to the left slowly.
Wait, you start farther right than he is right now, river right?
A little bit, because I would slowly be building momentum to the. I'd be further. Yeah, I start a little more to the right, but I'd be building momentum to the left,
Pulling.
downstream. I'd be like I do what Aaron would say. I'd probably be 90 degrees in here.
Yeah.
Slowly pulling to the right. Sorry, pulling to the left, and then when I got close to that lateral, I would turn downstream and just power through the lateral.
Yeah.
That sound right? That sound reasonable?
Everything except for the top. I wouldn't start so far right. I would start left to center.
All right. That's just
Exactly.
a difference.
You know what left of center means, right?
Yeah, whatever. I don't want to get into that story. You don't even get me started. But where it is right now is what you're trying to avoid. Like this is a wave that could slip and somebody swam there. But that's the only way to avoid that is to be all the way on the left. You guys with me on this?
Could you go right of the wave though? You could go right of the wave too, right?
Maybe, but
it's a little harder.
Be harder.
And then you end up in the room of doom down below.
Potentially, yeah. You want to get left. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, you want to go right because you don't. That room of doom it's at low water. The room of doom is kind of an eddy. At high water, it's kind of nasty.
The drone is.
I think this is.
Is that a drone? Someone's on
drone. Or, no, maybe it's not a drone.
So Aaron, do you like this? What he's doing here? He's basically perpendicular to the.
Yeah, I like that. I'd be just kind of hanging out sideways to the river. Just where's it going? Get your momentum. I'd start pulling a little bit. I would try to be. Let's see where he comes. Yeah, I like right where he is right now.
I'd be more to the right and slowly building momentum.
I agree with Zach on this one a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm not as strong as you guys. No, I'd be a little.
Aaron, that's why I start to give myself.
See, now he's pushing back center.
Yeah, a little farther left, and get his angle. I get my butt down right now. Get my butt down. Right, I love where he is right now. This is perfect. Butt down though. Butt down. Oh no.
He's just gonna get surfed back in the middle.
Yeah, but I like right where he was because then you don't have to do like 2 strokes. I'm all about minimal strokes. I don't need to take 7 strokes and be like, get up a lot of momentum, pull hard across the river.
Aaron, that's why I would start earlier, is so I could do a few strokes.
Yeah, like slowly. Like I'm not doing strong strokes. I'm like doing nice, easy strokes, like pulling, not.
Why?
So
are you accelerating after your first 2 strokes? If you're going easy strokes, how many strokes does it take you to get to the speed you're going with putting that effort in?
That gives me more room. If I realize that I'm not getting over left fast enough.
But then, Doug, if you start left, you don't have to worry about getting over left. You're left.
But you want some momentum.
Right. So, Aaron, what you're doing.
You need 2 strokes. 2 strokes. Okay. 2 strokes. That's it.
You're right. I mean, I can't argue with you,
more important, I feel like, is entering in the right spot with the right angle, and then your strokes matter minimally. 2 strokes is more than enough. You could probably do that.
Hold on.
If you enter in the right spot, you probably do 1 stroke.
Let me explain it to Aaron. Aaron, are you there?
I'm here. Are you? You're frozen. Your face is all frozen.
I can hear both of you.
Face. There we go. Now Zach's back.
Okay, so Aaron, I'm with you. You could start on the left and then just turn and pull a couple strokes. I think I like starting on the right because I like to build into that place. Like I can't always pick exactly where to be on the left and just like kind of happenstance into it. I like to slowly build my way into it and find that spot from the right.
But what happens if you start? I feel like people mess up way too often and are late, and you can't recover. Then you got to pull really hard to try to get back.
Yeah, don't be late.
If you're on the left side, you never have to worry about it. You're right there. It's 2 strokes. You're like, you just start right. You're like, here it comes. Okay, boom, boom. All right, done.
Yeah, I will. I'll try to be early.
And why I say this too is like, if you're pulling casually, yeah, that's not a big deal. I see too many people who start and like are trying to get up ahead of steam and trying to pull really hard and say, you guys start there and pull really hard. It's like,
I don't do that, and I don't want to teach that.
2 strokes. 2 strokes.
Yeah, I'm a fan of how I like to do it.
Aaron? What's the 2 strokes? That's like almost any rapid. Do you think 2 strokes builds up?
I think if you're in the right spot, a lot of times in pulling 2 strokes gets you pretty well where you need to go. You know.
2 big, strokes. 2 big Aaron Cavignolo strokes. Dougie and I are a little weaker.
2 good, not super hard strokes, but 2 good strokes.
And
I bet I weigh less than Doug these days.
And that would change if it's a bigger feature you're trying to get past. Get over.
Maybe a little bit, but I mean, how much momentum can you get up in a boat? That's the other thing. It depends how heavy the boat is. A big
You
heavy
can get
boat,
good
you might need a
momentum.
couple
You
more
can get
strokes.
you can get that thing moving. Like I'm a big fan. Like just slowly build it, like nice, easy
much-
strokes.
Okay, here's the question: What's the
It depends.
maximum
It
number of
depends.
strokes it takes?
depends.
What's the maximum number of strokes
Uh-huh.
it takes to build up full speed
10.
in glassy water? 10 strokes?
Yeah. It could take 10. It depends how strong you are. It depends how heavy the boat is.
I would say
If it's a heavy boat,
maybe 4, maybe 6.
No, it depends on the boat. It depends on your strength. Some people take more strokes to get it going.
P equals MV.
You can't get that fast. It just doesn't go that fast. Maybe you could get it incrementally faster with 10 than with 6, but it's such a minimal difference. It doesn't really matter. Like if you're
I'm
like
not sure,
racing,
Aaron,
yeah.
if you have a heavy boat and you want to get it up to speed, yeah, you get 10 strokes to get you going.
Remember, Aaron.
That's pretty. You're gonna get going.
No,
pretty
I would
fast.
say the downstream pull at horn, 2 or 3 strokes, cut right behind the rock, and you're good. And I see people try to do it from a lava, 2 or 3 strokes. I mean, not lava, crystal, 2 or 3 strokes.
I would say on all of those rapids is probably 2. I'd say on all those rapids is probably 2 or 3. I would say if I know the rapid, I'll do 2 or 3. If I don't, I'm gonna kind of fidget with it a little bit.
I flipped at crystal one time trying to do exactly what you're talking about. Trying to line it up and pull too hard, and I hit the rocks and bounced into the hole.
Well, that's a whole separate issue, Doug, is you hit the rocks. You don't want to hit the rocks. And no matter where you start, you can hit the rocks.
But that was partly because I was probably starting too early, trying to get from left to right.
Yeah, you're starting too early instead of just waiting. Yeah, it's not. I mean, you can have that same problem starting upstream and doing 10 strokes versus 2 strokes.
Yeah.
And I'd almost say you get yourself into more trouble with 10 strokes because by the time you've got 6, and you realize, like, oh, I'm too far up. You can't stop your momentum at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I understand. I'm with you, Aaron. I'm gonna say like I really like just like the warm up strokes, the nice, easy. You're not even trying that hard.
Yeah,
it gets your body into a rhythm. If you just flow and all of a sudden have to pull 2, you don't know your strength of your boat. Sometimes if you haven't downstream ferried the whole day, you're like all of a sudden like, oh, what is it? How do I get the boat to speed on a downstream ferry? So I'm gonna do some like really easy like barely working hard, a couple to get tune the boat in, and then build up and then build in. So I'm gonna start that way. If I'm super practiced and I'm downstream ferrying all day, I'm with you, Aaron. But I like the warm up.
I'll do that too. I'll agree with you. Do a
Oh,
couple,
okay.
But I don't start way out on the other side to do that. I'll just kind of do a couple really easy just to get the motion, see how the boat's moving for me.
I want to move the boat a few feet. I want to move the boat.
I'll agree with you there. I'll say that. But I think a lot of people think that start way over in they're like, if this is the center of the river and the water, the V's coming from both sides. They start on the opposite side of the V. And I think you want to start on the side of the V that you want to be on.
I think it depends. But I agree with you. You don't want to go full speed charging. Like you don't want to be like take 10 hard strokes into it and just try to like full momentum. Because like once you do 4 strokes, you're pretty close to max speed. Like the first 6 were just wasting your energy and you weren't in control over your spacing. You weren't in control of your position. If you're just like turning around and yarding, you want to like pull in a way that like you control your position really well. And then at most 4 strokes to get to most of your speed. I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some comments really quick.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments. Man, his internet's terrible today.
Yeah, it's rough today.
Where are we here?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Rest stop bags. Internet. It's my internet. It's having a hard time today.
Yeah.
Rest stop bags say they can be thrown in the trash or landfill safe. They all say that.
Yeah.
You just can't put 100 of them in there.
I mean, you can. The only concern is with the people who have to transport it. I feel like at the dump it's fine.
Still having problems here.
Yeah, totally agree with that last statement. Yeah. Well, thanks, see, look at these comments.
You guys there?
Look at the next one. Look at the next one. I mean, it's basically, Zach, when people tell us we don't know what we're doing and we're whatever Monday morning quarterbacking, we were right. Pull left.
Yeah, sorry guys, it's just my internet keeps going out. I'm gonna fix my internet next week. I get a new router I'm installing. The whole hole. We were right. Yeah, I see that one. We were. I think so. I literally can say this is a right to left downstream ferry. Every flow I've seen.
Yeah, that seems like Andrew supports that.
Yep. Correct angle with 2 strokes. Spin it. Starts a massive hole. Crack a beer. I'm not into cracking the beer, but I hear you. The better you read and use it to your advantage, less strokes. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I agree with that. Depends on the rapid.
Yeah.
I like building. I think mow. Yeah, I think that's the way I like to build mow. Not by like taking a lot of hard strokes, but like slow and easy getting into it, slowly building mow. That's just, I think it's just.
And then when you're ready to do a couple hard strokes, you're like, okay, this is the spot. I'm gonna do a couple hard strokes, get my momentum, and punch through that. Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay, so I got one more video here of school. I think this is another drone video. What do you think so far, Aaron? What do you think?
I'm liking it. Just get that butt downstream further. And we're a little late. We're a little late. More downstream. What do you think, Douglas?
A tiny bit. Yeah, I was gonna say a tiny bit more left, but it looks pretty good right now.
All right.
River left, I mean. Yeah.
It worked though. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's still going backwards partially. Yeah. Is he? Or did he turn around?
Can't tell. But that's okay, right? To go backwards all the time.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Zach even participating now? I hear him clicking, but are you there, Zach?
Okay. I'm here. I'm here now.
No problem.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
All right.
There's a drone.
Okay. So did you guys like sorry, I missed all that. And we'll probably have to stop this.
You're cutting out again.
I
think that's Zach, I think it's
did you guys like this? Did you like this footage? This guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice angle. It gives a good perspective on it. And you can see it's like, it's like when you do those talks, those chalkboard talks on running rivers and courses, where you're looking down on it and you have your little cardboard raft or whatever. It's really helpful.
Yeah, I thought that last one was just perfect.
Yeah.
I felt like that guy I saw it again. The first time it clicked out and I missed part of the spin and it looked really good. Yeah. And he actually didn't need more of a downstream angle because the feature wasn't that big. So he did want to be more that way because he wanted it to turn himself. Mm-hmm. So that worked out perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew, send us 35,000.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Different. Okay. Enough of school. We've beat school to death. Do you guys want to get to the topic of the week? I think my internet's going to survive this, which is Grand Canyon preparation. And I'm doing a Grand Canyon trip in a month. So this is for me too. Things that you should do to prepare for a Grand Canyon trip. And the first question is there physical things you need to prepare for? Do you need to get physically prepared?
Do you guys want to answer this first or should I?
Go for it, Aaron.
I mean, I would say the biggest thing that I recommend for people when they're going to do a Grand Canyon trip, anyone, on commercial trips, I mean, that's what we do, right? Is get in shape to hike. I think that's the biggest thing.
I think this is private. I think that.
Yeah, no, I know. But I think it applies to the private too, is make sure you're in shape to hike, man. Like make sure you're in shape to hike because you're missing out. If you're not in shape to hike, your legs aren't in good shape, you're not ready to do that, you miss out on so much cool stuff if you're just sitting in camp while everyone else is hiking. So that to me, and I think that hiking and getting that shape will help you with the rowing, it will help you with everything. But really, that's from what I've seen is like just take care of get your legs in shape so you can walk around and climb around and go explore.
And that goes along with bringing hiking shoes that are comfortable and you don't get blisters that you can throw on at a beach and then go for a hike.
I mean, I think the people who've been down there before, they know this, but I think it's something that, like, at least for me, before my first trip, I didn't really appreciate the hiking down there, and like how I was lucky that I was in good shape when I went down there for my first time, and man, I'm glad I was, because there's so many cool things to explore.
Yeah.
So that's in terms of fitness prep.
Aaron, you're doing a trip. You're doing a trip here pretty soon, right?
Yeah, end of September.
Yeah. What day are you launching?
I don't know. I think I launched a couple days before you. 27th.
Maybe you'll catch us.
Sure.
That'd be funny if we launched on 28th.
Oh, maybe we can actually. Maybe we launched after you. Actually, because I was talking to Doug about it, and I think I won't see you guys, but we're gonna be around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are you gonna do, like, are you already physically fit, or will you actually train?
No, actually. Well, like I'll say, last year I was hiking. I was taking Ada in one of those backpack things, those little backpack things, and I was doing like a 2-hour hike like once a week with her up like this mountain. Right now, I'm lucky is that she just switched preschools, and now the preschool is a 30-minute bike ride each way, and so most day, I'm doing it twice a day, so I'm doing like 2 hours of biking, which is a lot, but it ends up being 40. It's like 40 hours of workout for me versus driving my car, so it ends up working out real well. But yeah, no, I'm trying to get my legs in shape because I love on those trips being the guy who gets to go long and take people on hikes, and you got to be ready for it, and and then you got to be able to come back on a commercial. You got to be back and work, so you got to be in shape. So yeah, I'm definitely training my legs up a lot for it. And the rowing, I should do some stuff, and my hands will probably get a little bit the first couple of days, but I think I don't know. I don't find that as taxing in general, particularly the time of year. If you're going in May, I'd be worried about the wind, because the wind can really beat you up if you're going early season, and make sure you're strong and ready for that, because that will kick you in the teeth. So yeah.
Freshie, would you train for a Grand Canyon trip? Would you do anything to get ready?
Yeah. Aaron's got great ideas.
Yeah. And I'll say this, the people who bike, the older people, like the people in the 70s who bike regularly, they like the people who I'm like always impressed, like, wow, that person's older and is getting after on the hiking. They all bike. It's amazing. All the old people who get after, they all bike. Like it's amazing. Like they all do it, and I think it's a great way to keep your cardio up without the pounding. They can go uphill really well, because there's the steeps, and they can keep up amazingly well. And so that's definitely, I've noticed that theme over the years. So that's definitely been I'm excited about the biking for that reason.
How's the temperature in September? The end of September, pretty good, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Whatever, it's probably like, I don't know, 80s, and mainly probably.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I would say that in the heat, that's something you want to get your body ready for is the high temperatures.
You know what's funny though? We're lucky it's so dry down there. Yeah. I was working trips down there a couple of summers ago, and I came out to Hawaii, and I was like, oh, it's 120 in Grand Canyon. I'll be fine here. And like, I went on a hike, and I was like dying here because of the humidity, and it was only in the 80s. It's just like, So luckily it's so dry there. Yeah. But definitely, you're right. Yeah.
What about rivers to practice on? What are some rivers you might to like get ready for run the Grand Canyon? Where could you practice?
This is gonna be I think the Tuolumne is the best training river for anything, and I think if you can row the Tuolumne, you can row anything. Mm-hmm. So I think the Tuolumne is outstanding. If you're at that level or around that level, that's great training. If you can get to that level, I think people who can row the Tuolumne will hop on Grand Canyon. It'll be a little bit different. You have to make some adjustments with the downstream ferries, but you're not going to be overwhelmed. It's not going to be coming at you too fast. That being said, it seems like something, I don't know where, the South Fork seems like that would be a good one too, though. I think at high water in the spring, maybe when you can practice some, I guess I would be more just practicing downstream ferries into eddies. It seems like no matter what river you're on.
And that's the next thing we'll get to. Like, people always ask us to do class.
We lost him again.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Do you think everyone can hear us right now? I'm guessing that Zach's talking about is with the classes people want to be prepped for, and I think the biggest thing is the downstream ferry is the key move in Grand Canyon. What you say, Doug? Pretty much, if it's a must-make move, it's a downstream ferry. You got bedrock, you've got crystal at lower water or higher water at crystal. You've got what's that one up above? House Rock. I mean, the classic, the horn, the hard moves are all these downstream ferries.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's hard to like find a lot of moves that way. You can look for moves in rapids where you cut behind rocks with your back end and swing around, and that works real well.
Yeah.
And also eddies where you've got high volume going into eddies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wonder if we just totally lost Zach as he's done. Oh, it's just us two now. Lovely. And we have no control because I don't have the control I normally have. I don't think we can pull stuff up. So maybe Zach will come back for good. So far, and let's bring up, there's some other questions about it. Where was that? Do you remember what else we were talking about with the Grand Canyon stuff? They were asking about, Doug, have you done a private Grand Canyon trip where you brought your own food?
No.
I haven't done that either. And I have no desire to do that.
I know, it's amazing to have one of those organizations.
And particularly like if it's yours and you're in charge. I remember the last one I did was my permit. I was like, people are like, oh, we can bring our own food. I'm like, if you want to organize all of it, we can bring our own food. I said to the person who asked that question, but I don't want to organize all the food. Yeah. I don't want to be figuring that out, picking out the coolers, figuring it all out. It's so much time for me personally. It's worth $1,000 just to have it all taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, and like as a group, it's a huge amount of money. To do the private, but like no one wants to take that on. And so I think those painless privates it makes it a true vacation. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
and it's good food.
It's good food. Maybe if I was doing like a 4-person trip, I might think about bringing my own food, something small. But if it's a 16-person trip, I think there's no way. Hey, Zach, you there?
Yeah, my internet is doing something weird.
I love how you always give us a hard time about our technology that Doug is on, and yours seems to have.
It's my router. I think it's my router's having problems today. That's what at least the internet.
I'm going to say I have the cheapest internet plan possible. I call them all the time. Hey, can I get a cheaper one? And whenever I can downgrade, I always say yes to something, whatever the cheapest.
I have an expensive one, but I'm about to switch routers, and this is like I just bought a new fancy router. It's right here. I haven't installed it yet, so it would be even better. I just haven't quite installed it yet. So this is
even better than it is now. Even better than terrible. That's good. So what were you going to say, Zach, when we lost you? Or should we catch up on comments first? Because we can't really control comments.
There's not much. Push-ups and air squats, 50 per day. Yeah. That's just being healthy. Oh, what I was saying was people always call us to want. We do a lot of private classes, right? And everybody always wants like Grand Canyon prep. And I have to say, like, we don't have the Grand Canyon in our backyard. We can't go do anything similar at all. And there's really no rivers to practice on for the Grand Canyon, unless you get like high water South Fork, like you said. Remember we did that main eel at 50,000? That's good practice, but you don't just happen to have rivers that flood in your backyard all the time.
And I would say I would not practice on the main eel at 50,000 to go do a Grand Canyon trip. I think that was a lot scarier than the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. But like maybe the main eel at 20,000, whatever. But what I'm saying is like, and you can't, unfortunately, there's nowhere you can there's no river to practice on. Westwater is probably a decent place to go. That Skull Rapids seems like an adequate place because of the downstream ferry. I bet Cataract Canyon is probably a good place. But in general, I'm going to say you just have to go practice the downstream ferry. So the people I've taught, I'm like, we're going to take a little 12 or 13 foot boat. We're going to do a small river and we're going to downstream ferry over and over and over and over until it's second nature for you. And the people that have done the class with us and then done it on the Grand Canyon were like, yeah, that worked. Yeah. And so like you have to go downstream ferry all the time. And you can do that everywhere. Like you don't have to have a need for it. You can downstream ferry small eddy lines, big eddy lines, and just hammer it all day long. That's what I would say.
I think we were kind of talking about when you're going, it's kind of cool you came back and said the same thing. We talked about pretty much that same idea as like downstream ferry into eddies, downstream ferry behind rocks, just practicing downstream ferrying, looking over your downstream shoulder and practicing working one way and practice working the other way. Yeah, totally.
And you have to feel that when you feel yourself cross the eddy line or the lateral and then slam into the eddy, you get it. Yeah. Like it's all theoretical till then, but the first time you do it, like, oh, now I understand, and then it becomes second nature. I bet Cataract Canyon is a great place to practice. Not everybody can do a 4-day Cataract Canyon trip to practice on a few rapids.
Practice for Grand Canyon.
Yeah, and I really can do a bunch of those. Yeah, it was 50,000. It was, when we did that trip, it was juicing.
Yeah.
It
a
was
little
real
scary.
big. The other questions, do you guys talk about like painless privates versus do it yourself?
We were just starting to talk about that, and Doug and I asked Zach, have you ever done a private trip, like a long private trip where you brought your own food for a bigger group?
Not long.
Like we
But yeah, I've done a week. I don't really want to do that again.
No, that's the kind of our comment is like I told Doug while you're gone that I was like, when people ask me like, hey, let's do our own food, I'm like, fine, you can be in charge of it.
Yeah.
And that usually shuts them up because it sucks to be in charge of organizing it. Even if different people are bringing different meals and stuff, you can definitely make that work. But you got the coolers, you got to work it all out. Which I mean, maybe if everyone has the right gear, but it just seems way easier just to have them do it and send the food for you, and then it's a true vacation, as we said. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, in terms of painless private versus pack your own, if you have the money, do painless private.
Yeah.
If you don't, pack your own. Like it's to me, it's worth the money. Like, and also like a lot of like, you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to forget a meal or have some food go bad or run out of ice.
Yeah.
You just don't have the luxury of a mistake, and then those mistakes lead to problems between people. And I think one of the biggest issues in Grand Canyon trips are disagreements and people getting in fights because it's a long time. And if you run out of food on day 3 and somebody thinks so-and-so's fault, well, then they think that person's a fault for everything. And by day 12, you hate them. And so you really want to minimize the opportunities for mistakes so that you can get along the whole time.
And then you can just blame pro who's not there and be like,
you'd rather all be against somebody that's not there than against each other. Be like, oh, they suck. They didn't pack enough shrimp on day 4. I didn't get my chocolate bar on day 5. Like, but if it's somebody else on the trip that miscounted, then that's something where you could get upset with them. So minimizing any opportunities for, what's that called, Dougie, when people fight on trips?
Conflict.
Minimizing conflict between Grand Canyon parties, I think, is a real important thing. Remember that trip we did, Dougie, where we saw other groups that were yelling at each other in camp?
Yeah.
And that one group, half of them, not half of them, some of them came to our camp and said, we want to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting along. Can we tag along with you guys for a few days?
That happens really often. Like really often. Like way too often down there. It used to be groups used to like get into fights and they would split up their group. And they just split the one part of the group would take the blast, or the other part would take the stove. They'd split food up and be like, fine, we're done with you. But now Grand Canyon Park doesn't allow that anymore. They say you got to stay together, which is nice for everyone else. But you can tell when the groups are coming down. There's like, it's usually the triple up front's all like, and you can just see like, oh, that person's not happy. And then the people in the back are just kind of casual. Hey, what's up? Yeah, well, just kind of hanging out. You're like, okay. There's one side. There's always one side that's like nobody really cares. Nobody really understands the challenges, or we're not going to get a camp. And the people in the back are like, everybody's uptight up front. We're just being casual on vacation. Like there's two sides that always they like put their flagpole in and they just like, this is how it is. And honestly, I can see myself on either side. I can see myself if I'm pissed off at somebody taking a side. Yeah, I think the dynamics and who you bring on the trip is so important, making sure you know people, particularly if you're organizing a trip. Like friends of friends get you in trouble. I was just talking to someone about it recently. It was like, oh, Brantley just did one. And we were talking about this stuff. Mm-hmm. And she said we were talking about friends of friends and stuff like that, and how, when you don't know all the people, it's a lot bigger of a risk. You got to trust, like, is the person that Doug thinks cool, am I going to think that person's cool?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. And so
I'm doing a trip where I know one person. My wife's coming too. Heather and I are going, and then we know one person. That's what we're doing next month. And you have to go into it with a lot of alcohol and an open mind.
Well, I'll say Doug, though. I've seen Doug's groups.
And different Doug. This isn't Freshie. This is different Doug.
Yeah, different Doug. Yeah. Doug Proctor. He knows how to put a group together. So I'd be pretty confident he's going to have a group of people who are going to get along, who are going to roll. Yeah. He's just the people, just doing his trips and seeing the people he puts together for his trips.
There's a few more.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. my dream is like a four person 2-boat private, and you just go down there and just hike everything, and be so awesome. That would be so fun. Yeah. Oh, totally, Peter. Yeah. Go light.
Self-support. I know people do self-support kayak trips these days. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I would just go right. But Peter, I'm gonna say this is like, I don't want to spend all my time like setting up camp and breaking down camp, and like, oh gosh, like, you can bring so much stuff. Like, just bring enough, and just be like, have meals that are easy to cook, and you're just like, okay, here, dinner's done, easy cleanup, cool. Like some people do, they pre-make stuff and freeze it and put it in, like they've got like this chili, which is
Aaron, not for the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Because you have Pro do it all, or whoever. We don't want to.
No, but he's saying no. I think a backpacker Pro doesn't do backpacker style.
Yeah.
I would with a small group of like 4 people. I would definitely bring my own food for a small group, because like that's much more manageable. And then I think my favorite things to do is everyone does their own breakfast. We have hot water breakfast. Everyone does their own breakfast.
I'll do that on a 4-day trip. I'm not going to do that on a Grand Canyon trip.
That's pretty nice. With 2 couples or something like that, and then we'll just do dinners together. Cool. Yeah.
Sack lunches. I like sack lunches.
Yes. The sack lunch every day down there. That's a really good one. I think that is pulling over to make lunch. Like Robbie trips. Zach, when we work with Robbie a lot, he does a lot of sack lunches, and that's the first person I saw do so many of them. And even days sometimes where you could stop for lunch, people get hungry at different points, and they want to eat at different points, and it works really well for that. And then it sets you up better for doing certain hikes where like, well, we have to stop for lunch first. It's like, oh, let's eat a little bit, and then we'll go do that hike, and we'll eat a little bit afterwards, or we'll get up to the patio.
I think guides get too caught up in like we have to do the full lunch thing. Like this is what we do. We pull over and have lunch, and I think there's other options for sure. We don't think outside the box enough, and then that spills on to how we do private trips. Like we got to pull over and set up a table and make a fruit platter, set up the cookies, make juice. And sometimes it's fun to do something like a little different.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, y'all, I have to run.
Later, Fresh.
Continue the show, and I'll catch up with you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Thanks.
Later, Fresh. I think in terms of overpacking, underpacking's worse.
Bye, Doug.
Okay, I'm trying to get out of here.
I'll get you out.
The red
I'll get
button
you
at the
out of here,
bottom.
Doug. I'll get rid of Doug. Remove from stream. So I think underpacking is worse. I'd rather overpack. I'll overpack any day of the week. Underpacking is a bummer.
Yeah. With food, I think in particular, with like gear and clothes, depending on the trip, you can just wear the same shirt multiple days.
No, but if you don't have a rain jacket or
there's
or a cold weather gear, there's like you can wear the same T-shirt every day, but there's certain like things you can't really run out of.
Yeah.
Or you got to have enough. I'd rather have enough extra down jackets, or if my rain jacket gets soaked, I'd like to have a backup because I've been on trips where my rain jacket's soaked, or I can give somebody an extra one. So I think in food, you just don't want to run out of food. It's just a bummer.
No, food definitely. And Andrew, it's interesting. It's been a long time since I've done the painless private thing. I felt like you could ask for simpler meals or more complicated meals, like they had different menus. And I don't know if you organized your group or someone else did, but I felt like that was like you could choose what meals you wanted. Like they have this bunch of them. And so like for me, where I was just like, oh, let's go simple but taste good. And
I want complicated and taste bad. Is that an option?
Yeah, that is an option. Well, I mean, spaghetti is simple and tastes good. You don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The couple things I enjoy cooking on a river trip, so I enjoy the process. So I don't mind being in the kitchen cooking. I also want to eat somewhat healthy. So if I'm eating just spaghetti every night, that's just carbs. Like I want some protein. I want some vegetables. Like I'd like to eat more than just like basic food. If I'm gonna be gone for that long, I'd like to eat something. I don't want to eat spaghetti for 2 weeks. No, if I'm in like some random first ascent in China, but on the Grand Canyon, I want to eat somewhat healthy.
That's hard to do though with the produce as you get farther along.
Just do the best you can.
Yeah.
All right. What's your advice for people that just don't have the camp chores? Yeah, I mean it's frustrating to me because as a guide, this has been a problem in the past. I know how to do everything. I'm a worker, and I'll end up doing everything every day, and I'll be pissed because I'll watch people get to camp and crack a beer and do nothing while I set the whole camp up.
Yep.
And so my thing I started doing is I'll just say, who wants a job? And I'll just like, I think a lot of times people just don't know what to do. So I'll just stand up and say, hey, who wants to know what to do? Cool. You want to know what to do? Do this. You want to know what to do? Do that. And so I'll just ask people who wants something to do, and I'll pass out jobs. And I think what you do the first couple of days sets precedence for the whole trip. So I'll do nothing for the first 2 days. If I see this happening, I will do nothing. I'll let the camp not get set up until I don't want people to see me set up camp and expect me to do it every day.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm gonna say this. I only do trips with worker bees. That's
but
what
you can't always just pick that.
I won't go. Just don't go. It's
so Aaron, you know every single person on the trip, and you know they're all worker bees. And if they're not, you're like, I'm not going to go.
Or I know the person in charge doesn't put up with non-worker bees.
Yeah, I don't think they always control. Yeah, I don't think you always control it. I think it can happen on accident. I think a lot of times.
But I'll say I've turned down a lot of private Grand Canyon trips because I didn't know the group. And I didn't know.
Well, I mean, Aaron, you have a luxury because you're Aaron. Aaron, you're Aaron Cavignolo, so you can turn out all the Grand Canyon trips you want to. Some people don't just have Grand Canyon trips landing in their lap every day where they can just turn them down.
No, but you can get a private permit. Everyone can get one, and then
not everybody get one. You can't just get one. I mean,
yeah, you can.
It's really hard.
There's ones that go unused every year if you're willing to go in the winter.
In February, who wants to go in February?
If you wait, though, the way the odds work, you can build up odds
eventually. But sometimes there's people like they don't just get it like turn trips away like you do, and there are people that don't work. And I think part of it is they just don't know what to do. And I think part of it sometimes is people think they're passengers on a commercial trip, on a private trip.
Well, no, totally.
They've been invited on this trip, and there's people that know what they're doing, and like, oh, well, I'm just gonna let the people that know what they're doing do things. And so it's partially your fault for setting that precedent. Like,
but I'm gonna say this:
day one, the 4 people that know what to do go set everything up. The rest of the crew becomes a passenger on your trip, and I don't let that happen anymore.
I will say this: I think it helps to have done a multi-day trip with the group before. I would never do a Grand Canyon trip with the group of people I had.
Aaron, again, not everybody has to get the million invites like you do.
No, I'm not saying a million invites. I'm saying if you're boating, you're not. And I think the other part, Zach, is what you talked about is setting the expectations up front. I think it really helps to have crews too that are responsible for different aspects of it.
Yep. I think who sets the trip up can set the tone.
Like the kitchen crew for that night sets up the kitchen, right?
Sure.
And then there's a crew. Yeah, like they decide where the kitchen's going, how it's set up. Kitchen crew, you're in charge of the kitchen that night. The Groover crew,
it takes a good trip leader.
And then there's water crew.
Aaron, it takes a great trip leader to do that, to set these expectations ahead of time. And some people are not great trip leaders, and sometimes people get a permit and they become a trip leader, but they don't know these pitfalls. And so I think
Yeah,
I think that like
I didn't think about that. Yeah,
that's why people are asking these questions. That's why we're answering them now. I think,
but I think that having that structure in place, helps enormously because then it's harder to hide, and then you're hiding. You know, it's the 3 of us. It's like you, me, and Doug in a group, and then you can totally tell that I'm slacking, and you're just like, "Come on, Aaron, you got to help us out with this." Versus when it's the whole group, it's easier just to disappear when everyone's just getting stuff done.
So by email saying like, here's the 5 jobs that happen a day. Kitchen crew set up a kitchen. If you're a kitchen crew last night, you're in charge of groovers. If you're a kitchen crew 2 nights before, or like what I did one trip was we had somebody who was in charge of groovers. They had them on their boats and they set them up, and they did no cooking.
Yeah,
that's just groover. Every day they set it up. Every day they took it down. It was on their boat, and they did just groover boy.
That was Dennis Johnson's move. He always tried to do that, just be in charge of groovers and never have to cook. Which is, I think it's a sweet gig. That's a really good gig.
It's a sweet gig to not have to do that either. To just groovers are always taken care of. Like one person, because then like if it's somebody's turn to do groovers and they don't know how to do them, or people just kind of barely do it, they forget about it. That's not good either. You want somebody who like loves the job and is really good at it. Some people hate groovers. They just don't want to deal with them at all.
And I'm going to say this. One of the things that when I led my private trip, one of the conversations I had with everyone I invite, because everyone was guides on ours, and I set expectations before they said they're going on the trip. I say, hey, just to let you know, you need to come in the trip expecting to row no rapids because everyone can row and everyone's going to want to row. So you got to come in being happy to not row anything, and come in with that mindset. And like you'll probably get to row some, but don't be like, oh, I really want to row this or this or this, because like everyone can row. and just don't go on the trip if that's the way you want to.
I mean, setting expectations early is good, but people, that because you've done trips.
Yeah,
you know
that's what we're talking about right now too. And I said, and I think that expectation there, you can do similar type of stuff with the camp scene. These are going to be the expectations on the trip. Yeah, like everyone's helping out, everyone's working till the work's done.
But you can say that everyone is helping out. Yep. Everyone works till the work's done. That's super vague. It has to be like, here's your job crews. On this day.
Yeah, we have work crews and we have different crews. You have responsibilities. Yeah. No, I think that stuff helps a lot. We've got a bunch of comments now.
Okay, let's get down to them. Long trips.
Heidi, great question. Great question. It's really tough.
Yeah, we do river trips on rafts and been to kitchen sink. That's not why Aaron does trips on rafts. Because Aaron doesn't like the backpacks.
Yeah, it's easier to raft than backpack.
Yeah. I did a trip with Saba. They were great. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
How do you guys divvy up camp chores?
We kind of talked about that a little bit, but I think the big one is like the other thing that I like that I pulled this from working with Azra is we had one person in charge of the food on the painless private, and that was my mom. I was just like, okay, Mom, you're not going to cook it all. You're just going to manage the coolers, manage everything, know what's going on with all the food. And it's really nice, and just be like, here's your food tonight, or help them, tell them where to get their food. And then you had we had cook crews of like 3, I think, or something like that, which I like that number. I don't know about you, Zach. I think 3 is great. It's enough people to get.
I mean, I'll do 2.
I will too, but I think on a private trip, 3 is nice, and you've got so many people usually, and like so you cook every 4th night or 5th night. I think we had 16, so you cooked every 5th night, and then we.
What about dishes?
Food.
Does cook crew do their own dishes?
I think when we had 5, someone else did dishes. Maybe I like cook crew. Me personally, like doing dishes when I cook because I'm efficient in the kitchen. I can get it all done quickly.
Like if I'm not doing dishes, I might create a lot of dishes in a big mess, and I might just set them in the ground somewhere. Where if I'm a cook crew, I'll do dishes while I'm cooking. I'll just like dinner will be served, and there won't be any dishes to clean.
No, exactly.
So I like doing dishes on cook crew than just having to clean up other people's disasters.
Yeah, no, I am too, but I think like when you've got 5 crews, and so one night you're doing dishes, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? You cook one night, and then one night you do dishes. It's like, I think that works nice too, and divvies it up a little bit more. So
I think planning ahead, like Peter's saying here, is smart. Like, don't like just showing up and like, well, it'll just kind of work out. Everybody's cool. Totally. I think it's dangerous, but having a plan that's written down that is super smart. Come on.
No, it is true though, and
that's life. That's everything. I don't want to go to a baseball game with lazy people. I don't want to go do the South Fork with lazy people. You don't want to go to a baseball game with lazy people. Lazy people annoy me.
Baseball games are for lazy people.
Okay, whatever. Life. I don't want to do things with lazy people in life in general. That's not just boating. But you don't always get to pick who you do trips with.
And I think this is a key part, though, is like if you're not getting invited on trips, you better look at your work ethic.
I think Barrett has a good point. I think Barrett has a good point here. Like the permit holder gets to invite the people, you don't. And so
and that's why
you don't get to see that. Yeah, but you're like, hey, before I go, I want to see the entire trip list, and I want to do a background check on that.
I'm like, I don't know if I'll go on a trip with Zach because Zach's going to probably bring some lame ass people, or I'll ask this. I'll be like, oh, who are you bringing? And you'll be like, oh, my brother-in-law who's never been rafting, who's got this high-paying job, and one of these entitled people, that type of thing.
I'm out. Like, I'm with you here. I'm out. You're right. I am out. Like you're right. Okay, I'm with you here.
You know what I mean? But you can ask some questions like, oh, who's going on the trip? But I think that's an important question to ask is who's going on the trip? Who else is coming? To know what the group consists of.
When I said yes to this trip, we didn't ask because the day worked out well for us. Heather really wanted to go. And it was like, yeah, we'll go. We'll figure it'll be fine. Yeah, we'll be fine. Yeah, I believe you get camps and then you relax. I mean that's how a rational person believes. But then there's people who aren't like that.
But I'll say if you have all 16 people on your private trip all working to get camp set up, camp gets up so fast it's stupid. Yeah, it's like it doesn't get any time. But then when they don't, and certain people, it gets messy.
Yeah, I will do that.
That's
I will-
that's
I-
how he justifies his not doing work. So
No,
think
no.
twice
I-
about inviting
I
Zach
will-
on your private ranking.
It's not to see who helps and who doesn't. It's so that I don't get pigeonholed as the
No.
person who does all the work.
No.
Like if 4 people set up camp the first day,
No, and
the
I
other
understand what you mean.
12
Sometimes
assume those 4 people set up camp every day. Like, oh, they're here to do the stuff for us. And so like I'm not gonna jump on getting camp set up. I'm just not. I'm gonna wait for other people to like do something. I'm not gonna be the one. I want camp set up because I'm a guide. It's a habit to get to camp, unrig a boat, and set up camp. It's a really hard habit to break. So those of us that are guides will jump on that. The people that are just friends of friends, they'll just get to camp and they'll talk about how great the day, because that habit isn't in them. And so we empower them to be lazy by doing all the work sometimes. And so I have to break my habit and the first few days and just hang out, talk about how great the day was, and then let camp happen with everybody versus just me and a few people just busting it out because we can do it quickly. Because then day 12 you're doing it and you have animosity. You're like, oh man, why are they standing around talking again? I hate them. And it's not their fault. You empowered them on day 1.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I'm going to say another thing. Do you know what a work martyr is? Have you heard that expression?
I can guess what it means.
I think we also have to be careful with this, but like I agree with what you're saying with like sometimes it's best to take a step back and let some people step in, like create the void to allow it to be filled by some other people to help out to get stuff done. But I think it looks better like you say, hey, to everyone, like, hey, these are the jobs that we can get done. If you guys all help, we can get done quickly. Who can take this on? Who can take this on? Who can do this on? Or like Peter suggested, have
This happened on the first.
Sorry.
Remember this climate?
Don't be a work martyr.
Where you just working to get pissed at people.
Yeah, work really hard and get frustrated because no one else is working.
That's almost worse. That's actually almost worse. So remember those Klamath trips we used to do every year? Those like lower Klamath trips.
Yes.
Like I'd come off guiding a season, I'd go do, and I'd basically do all the work. Me and like 2 people.
I remember you
sat
talking
around.
about it.
I got super pissed. I was a work martyr. I got like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And the second year, I just stood there. I'm like, who wants a job? I didn't do any work. I literally just was like, who wants a job? And somebody raised their hand and say, you go to the fire pen up. It's over there. Who else wants a job? Oh, take the groover, put it over there. Like, so I realized it was people just didn't know what to do. And like giving direction is a job. Like providing leadership for camp setting up is an activity. It doesn't just everybody doesn't just magically know how to do things. And so walking around showing people how to do things is actually a worthwhile thing.
That's a good point.
Someone who's in the main best rower, 7 or 8 in Zach's deck. I mean, a 7 or an 8 in my deck is a class 4 boater. And so that's pretty good. If you're not a great rower, you're probably like a 5. But a 7 or 8 is like a class 3 plus 4 boater.
Becky, if you pull your weight in camp, you pull your weight in camp. And I think Becky kind of brings up a good point here. It's always best to feel like you're doing a little more than your share, because then you're probably doing your share. That's at least in my mentality. It's like I always want to feel like I always want to try to do a little bit more than my share.
And here's the problem. Aaron probably thinks he's an ace in my deck. That doesn't mean he gets to be lazy. Like, I don't think the really good oars per people get to like do less work because they're really good on oars. That has nothing to do with it. They should still pull their weight.
Yeah. Agreed.
So I think helping extra, no matter how good you are at rowing, is a nice thing. TL needs to leave a firm scan attached to furnish respect and equal division. Yeah, I think the problem is not everybody who's a trip leader is good at trip leading. I think that's
not everyone who signed up for the trip knew what they're signing up for.
Yeah,
and what the expectations.
Sometimes there's like oh, it'll be fun. It's not that hard. Like they like so and so wants to get their brother-in-law to come, and like no, it'll be chilled. All the people on the trip are guides. You don't have to work that hard. Sometimes that's told to people too, which I think can be a problem. But trip leading it's not everybody has that experience. People wouldn't contribute until we had fears with people who would contribute using his brothers. Now we get a schedule. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
it's funny how we keep bringing up brother. It's like
that's who it is, man. It's some dude. It's usually a dude. It's not the yeah.
One would think people with quite the river as may clue with having chemtrails. That's not the case. The hard part is knowing What to say, huh? Heidi,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're referring to a specific experience that you had.
No, but I think she's
On a
right.
trip.
Just because people have guided a lot of things, like I'm amazed some of the stories I hear and the things you hear, and like they feel. I don't know. I feel like I've heard a lot of stories about Grand Canyon trips from people after they go. They want to share, and you're like, and it's amazing people who've guided all over the place who are just super lame on the trip.
I think what happens sometimes is there's like Old Man River who's been down the canyon 20 times, who starts to be treated like a God type figure, and that person starts believing that, and they start to feel like people should take care of them, and it's sort of it does happen. Like people actually don't like do the work for them, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy type thing. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that people just sort of like they become that person who their job is just to like be lead boat and tell stories and it's their fault for becoming that, but people also empower them to become that person. I've always liked having such jobs people know, and yep, I think that's smart.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, Andrew. Yeah.
Coronavirus. I mean,
wash your hands. Yeah, Jesus.
I mean, it's hard to on a private trip. It's hard to enforce. On a commercial trip, we'll just over and over and over. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. On a private trip, it's a bit harder to enforce washing hands.
And I'm going to say this in Grand Canyon, and I've worked with guys like this who they don't want to bleach their water. You know, they want to filter. They don't want the bleach in their water because they think the bleach is gross. Well, guess what? They're the ones who get norovirus way more often because bleach kills viruses. Filters do not filter out viruses.
Put bleach in your hand wash.
And put bleach in your drinking water. You're supposed to bleach your drinking water when you filter. Oh yeah, yeah. Down there, it's mandated. It's mandated as part of, and that's why a lot of people get it is because when the filter doesn't, it's not small enough to filter out viruses. So the viruses go to the filter, and you have to put bleach in. If you're concerned about the bleach, it's all about there's a contact time and concentration. So I would just have a separate bottle, and I put the drops in, and I let it sit overnight, and or you can let it air out afterwards. And then if you give it some time, it's not as bad. But yeah, the bleaching your drinking water is key. So I think if you've got one of those UV filters, the UV filters kill viruses, so you don't.
It's supposed to. Yeah. It's supposed to, and a lot of the pumps it goes through a UV filter.
Oh, does it?
That's a lot of them go. Yeah, they pump it through a UV filter. But I mean, yeah, it's been a problem for a while. The norovirus thing's been a problem for a while. It's not just this year. Sweet.
See you, Blair.
I like assigning a group in charge of meals for one camp. I like breakfast. So I can leave the kitchen. I'm not left somebody else's mess. Yeah. Right. Like I can close down kitchen and I can open up kitchen. I'm a big fan of that.
And I also if we're having lunches, we're not having non-bag lunches, have them do the lunch the next day too. So they do a set of 3 and then they're done. So dinner, breakfast, lunch, and then they're off. And then that way that morning they're in charge of packing. If they have, on private trip, you can reserve food. You can't on commercial trips down Grand Canyon, but you've got leftovers and stuff like that. You can plan that in with the lunch and use some stuff instead. So you can be more efficient.
I'd go with pro don't. And this is what happens when you hey, you guys pick meal one, you may meal two. Just go with pro. Have somebody do all the food pack for you. Then all the meals are equal.
Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah, definitely see that. I've been on trips like that with my family. Actually, did a big trip and
I bet this
made some real nice meals, and someone else was But
on a Wahi trip where it's like there's 10 people and each couple does a night or something. That's where this happens, and you can't make sure it doesn't suck. That's the nature of.
You just don't invite those people again.
Yeah, but you don't. I mean, there's not unlimited people to go boating with. Not everybody's Aaron Cavagnolo getting invited to Grand Canyon every week. Sometimes you eat the lazy pasta and tomato sauce plus bacon, and I don't know. That's my take. Just be grateful for the lazy thing and give more than you take. Make.
I'm going to say this. I feel like Zach. I get so little time off to do these fun private trips that, in general, I try to be really particular about who I go with if I can. If you can.
Aaron, I'm going to tell you, I'm the same way. I do not do many private trips anymore. And usually when I do, it's like a self-support kayak trip on a river that people rarely do. I'm not very commonly doing a Middle Fork salmon private trip or a Rogue. I'm the same as you, but I empathize for people, and we're lucky because we get to commercially guide these rivers and see them a lot. Not everybody is as lucky as we've been, and so like it's their once a year Middle Fork trip. It's a once a year road trip, and they don't have the ability to like sift through the perfect exact group. Like getting a Middle Fork trip is a once in a lifetime permit for some people. Well, you're not going to say no because two people are lazy and one person's going to make tomato and pasta sauce. Like you just kind of like
no, but I think there's also other rivers you can run where like because the dynamic of the group is really important. Like if you haven't done the Middle Fork yet, totally go on it and just realize, yeah, this might suck, it might be great, we'll see. But when you find that right group too, realize that if you find a group that's good that you really enjoy going on trips with, that's special. And
yeah, I mean,
like nurture that.
Yeah, I mean, you and I had that crew. You know, when we started boating, that crew of people that we just like. It just was perfect. It was great.
Yeah.
You know? And since then I've had like crews come and go who I've been a part of, who I go boating with and do trips with. And it's special. You have to, it's luck that you get that group of people. You have to be cool and chill. But also like, it's kind of luck. And when you have that, savor it, but recognize it's not going to always be perfect. And sometimes you're going to eat lazy pasta and tomato sauce plus bacon.
Totally.
And like,
you're game to see the Middle Fork, or you're game to see Grand Canyon. You
stowed people out with like portobello mushrooms and a healthy salad and shrimp on the Barbie, and you made them an amazing meal, and you did something special for people. And in return, they gave you some crappy dinner, but like, that's life. You know, that's my take. Is like sometimes that's going to happen, and it's
exactly. Also, look at you just said you and I we avoid that a lot by going on smaller trips with less people. A 4-person trip's great.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not good advice. It's not advice to tell everybody just go on 4-person trips. That's not really going to happen.
Well, that's part of it. It's just to like.
That's not like. I can see this on the Oahe because you don't have permit issues. You could like kind of pick your crew and
you could go on the Klamath and do
it. But like you can't just tell everybody just do these unpermitted rivers forever. Eventually, you're going to join a main permit or a Middle Fork permit or whatever.
I'm not saying forever, but like
you're being entitled. You're being naive and entitled.
The main is pretty easy to get a permit on as well.
It's not that easy. Anyway, you're making our show really live up to its name right now.
Thank you.
I've been invited on a trip and asked to be the TL, but not the permit holder, and don't have a choice.
Oh, that's a rough position to be in, dude. I don't know, Neil. That's one of those ones. Like, how badly do you want to go on that trip? Like, if you're like super stoked to go on it, and you're like, God, I've been a long time, I really want to go. Yeah, maybe. And then it's like, are you the TL just for getting them downstream? Like, you're going to be the head boat and the downstream boat and getting them down the river? Or are you going to be planning the timing, the camping, and all that stuff? Because those are different situations. Like, if they just want you to be out front rafting, sure, yeah.
No, the TL. It sounds like there would be in charge of like everything. That's my take.
But I think, you know, it depends who's invited. Before committing to that, talked about like, well, who you thinking about bringing, and how many people do you get to bring? Because if you don't get to bring anyone, nah.
But this is where like this is.
But if you get to bring your girlfriend, and then you can have your little 2-person private trip kind of thing, where you just got to go off at camp and go exploring when it's not your night to cook, and you can get away and you can still have a good time and make it a great experience, even if the rest of people kind of suck.
This is where though I feel like now I'm going to say something and it's going to create some controversy. Neil Shaw must get paid for this.
Oh yeah,
you're not allowed to get paid.
Good. Yeah.
British Shaw must get paid, which then makes me think, well, he can't get paid because it's a private trip. Makes me think that non-river people should go on a commercial trip. So I think that like if there's that many non-river people that want to do the Grand Canyon, they should just book a commercial trip, right? And I feel like,
but they want to ride their own boats. They want to ride their own boats.
Well, if they're non-river people, they can't. But some of the people do.
I want to be able to, Zach, I want my family to come on a river trip and I want to be able to row them down the river, but I'm not comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go to Mars on a cushy spaceship, but I can't. I mean, I know everybody wants a certain thing. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? Like, you can.
And I'll say this, and while it's not legal for them to cover some of your costs to go on the trip, it's kind of cool when that ends up happening somehow.
It shouldn't happen.
Like,
No. Hold on. I'll be very clear. It's a private trip. This is a shared cost endeavor.
I understand.
Hey, Aaron, don't smirk. Don't smirk like I understand. But no,
I'm saying
you should not get paid anyway. This is by law a shared cost trip. Aaron, you're smirking. Just keep it quiet. I know where you're going.
Zach,
I know where you're going with this.
Here's my question on this.
Yeah.
If Neil brings his own raft and they rent a bunch of rafts, should he put in the same amount of money into the pot as everyone else?
I don't know the answer to that, but he shouldn't. Maybe he gets an equal amount for renting his. Maybe they rent his raft for the amount he's renting the other rafts from. That seems fair. I'm not an expert on how this works. I'm just saying the way that the law is set up and the way that
I understand what the law is. That's what I'm saying.
Is that private boaters are on shared cost trips. Neil, you can't get paid, but it sure would. It sure would be an interesting world where Neil could get hired to be the TL. And then it's like, well, I'm at work, I can deal with some of these logistics. It's worth all the effort I'm putting in to this person's.
But can they give Neil a gift afterwards, a thank you gift for doing the work?
No.
They can't give like a nice new watershed dry bag. Say, hey, thanks, man.
Full of hundreds of watershed dry bag full of Benjamins. They can't. No, they can't. I mean, this is where the system is a little bit messy. And I think that there's a lot of people who get private permits that their intention is to take their family and friends, and then they're like, oh, I need to find some rowers. Well, some people are willing to basically work for free because they end up working, right, for free to go on somebody's Grand Canyon permit. That's not always doesn't always end up the best. I could see that, but to be the TL, to organize a bunch of people you don't know, that's brutal.
Well,
that's brutal.
If we all said no to those things, there'd probably be more launches available to the rest of us too.
Yeah, just like, no, I'm good. That doesn't seem like an appropriate thing. Hey, will you please do the dishes, set up fire pound chores? Important things. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of leadership, Aaron. Too bad we lost Dougie because Dougie is, Mr. Leadership, Mr. National Outdoor Leadership School. But there's a lot of ways to, unfortunately,
like the poop sandwich, doing the poop sandwich.
Yeah, the poop sandwich. I think the problem is, I think it's really hard to teach leadership. It's not something Aaron and I can we couldn't do a class on it. You kind of have to make these mistakes yourself. Like somebody has to have been you don't really get good at this until you've seen it done wrong and oh, I got to avoid that next time. And here's some things. So this is where I don't think leaders are born either. I think leaders, you can learn to be a leader somewhat and you learn from experience. And then charisma is a genetic thing. So it's in my opinion, it's wisdom plus charisma plus some training.
You don't need any charisma to be a leader, though.
You need charisma.
No, you don't.
Definitely need charisma.
Have you ever read the book Good to Great? Have you read the book Good? Have you read the book Good to Great?
About stage 5 leaders? Is that one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've read that book.
Good to Great. He talks about the best leaders are the ones who are the quiet ones who don't have a lot of charisma. He basically throws. He throws the leaders you down. He just throws the leaders yeah, he does.
Aaron,
he talks about Lee Iacocca. Yeah, he totally does.
Lee Iacocca had charisma.
That's what he was. A bad leader. He was a bad leader when he came to Chrysler.
He was not a bad leader. He brought Chrysler out.
It wasn't about the company.
What? Okay, first of all,
read that book. First of all,
Aaron,
but we're getting on.
Hold on. In stage 5 leadership, no, I'm with you. In stage 5 leadership, there's very few stage 5 leaders, and what he talks about in the book is that a level 5 leader has been around for a long time. That's a person who's revered by many people. Aaron, dude, I'm all over this stuff. It's good to great. I know it. A level 5 leader has been around for a long time and has earned the respect of other people based on many years. And the key characteristics of a level 5 leader is that they are very driven, but also very humble. So they'll come off as being humble. They'll give the credit away to everybody else, but in the background they are very, very focused and driven. That's a level 5 leader in the book that you're talking about.
You did not use the word charisma anywhere in that statement.
Because the whole goal is not
agreeing with your statement. I agree with the statement you just made. I'm just going to say
a great leader is charismatic. In Good to Great.
No, there's leaders that aren't
absolutely.
Charismatic. That's a specific. There's this one guy who's he's an accountant, and he's
one
really
guy,
quiet, and he just busts his butt, and they're
quiet
he's classic. He got hired.
Aaron, quiet is different than charismatic. You're talking. There's great introvert leaders. That's quiet. charisma is different. Name one non-charismatic leader. Just name one. Just go.
Dougie Weebold.
You just called Dougie uncharismatic?
He's not charismatic at all. Doug's very understated. I don't think Doug would not call himself charismatic.
Okay. Either he is not charismatic or he's not a good leader. One or the other. I don't know what it is. But
so Doug, if you're listening, you can't say you're not charismatic because then you're not going to be a good leader.
But Aaron, charisma is an important part of leadership. It's it's the genetic part. Like people have the charisma. People don't tend to follow non-charismatic people. We'll talk about
I think. Yeah, we're going down a rabbit hole. We need to save this for the.
Let's finish up our comments. We got to end this show. This is.
But going. What were we talking about originally? Is the leadership thing, and leadership takes practice. And I agree with you. The leadership definitely takes practice, and it takes work. And I think, but
you have to have been on a lot of bad trips to know the pitfalls to avoid. Unfortunately, like you have to experience some bad times before you you're like let's nip this in the bud this time. So it's you can plan for some of this stuff, but unfortunately, you have to have some bad experiences to know how to avoid certain.
You do have to have made some mistakes or been on trips with them, but I think there's some structures that can minimize that, like having cook crews and having structure beforehand and designing structure and setting expectations up front. You don't have to make mistakes before you start doing that stuff. You can start doing it and adjusting, and you'll definitely get better over time. I
thought of this Heidi's comments or Becky's comments really good, and I think the offer sincere thanks after it's done. That's just gold. That's just you learn that from experience and from being a leader for a long time. It's to say man, thank you. That you did a great job. That's a little thing. I think that's a great comment.
Yeah. Leave them on the side of the river. When they come back from the hike and the boats are gone, they'll learn their lesson.
Wait, what's this referring to? Asking.
That one before if they say no when they ask. She's yeah. If they say no.
A chore wheel.
Yeah.
Chore wheel sounds good.
Seriously, just having some structure makes a huge difference.
There's a lot of ways. It'd be fun if there's a wheel you spin and it's like, oh, today you're doing this.
Going back to Neil's thing. So Neil, if you are thinking about doing it, I think it seems like having a conversation beforehand with the person who's the permit holder, saying how do you want it structured? How do you envision this going down? If I'm going to do this, this is how I'd want to do it. And I think that would be key to me if I decide I want to do it. Besides the, $1,000 cash, I'm going to ask for. No, I'm joking, Zach, because I know we're not allowed to do that. And definitely I wouldn't do that because it's not worth getting in trouble. And certain places it can really mess up your guiding career, like in Idaho, if you do that.
A good humble person, what can I do to help? If you don't know what to do, asking is helpful. People don't ask. Not everybody's awesome, and they need to be directed. I think it's hard to expand.
Get on. I think it's get on a Grand Canyon trip.
Yeah, it is hard. Not everybody's Aaron Cavagnolo is getting invited every week. Some of us have to.
I've only done one private Grand Canyon trip, Zach.
But you've been invited on so many you turned down.
No, I haven't been. I haven't been. I've been invited on some, but not that.
You make it sound like you're constantly asked, but no, the people aren't good enough for you.
Well, I'd rather get paid on it. I'd rather work a trip, honestly.
Oh, that's elitist.
No,
talk about elitist.
Because think what you said is true. Is when you go on a private trip, a lot of times people you end up doing all the work you're doing on a commercial trip. It's more work a lot of times because it's less structured. And it's less fun.
Well, not everybody has. Hey, Aaron, not everybody has the ability to just work a Grand Canyon trip.
You could, but you can always just pay to go on a Grand Canyon trip too.
I think there's something to be said for that. I think that I think paying. I mean, it's expensive. I did a commercial subway trip this summer. It was really nice. P&G, sweet. I don't know what those are, but I'll have to look into them. Aquamira, we use Aquamira. Works great. I'm not sure it stops norovirus.
And Aquamira does not work very well with Giardia. The contact time is not. The problem with just using it with not doing filtration is Cryptosporidium and what's the other one, Giardia. The contact time is so long and it has to have such a high concentration, no one's going to want to drink the water. So it doesn't kill off the Giardia and Cryptosporidium in general. Like Aquamira, that's a problem with Aquamira.
Trips had to leave doing a canister for Oh, avoid side hikes. Brutal. Yeah, pretty rough. I think it's hard to get on a Grand Canyon trip. I think it's spanning. You understand this? Members 6 months.
No, it's weird. Yeah, I think he was talking about the other thing that
Yeah.
something happened there because
Okay.
that kind of repeated a lot of what you said before, Barrett.
Easy meals suck on big trips. My crew assigns one person to create a full menu. That menu is approved by the group and purchased. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you have a crew. And when you have a crew and everybody's on the same page, it's easy to do. I think
No,
the
and
struggles are when you are like meeting, like it's just like somebody brings a bunch of people together and it's like everybody has different expectations and thoughts and wishes and dreams and hopes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron, how does it get an easy main permit? You are incredibly elitist today, by the way.
Well,
which is
I'd
good.
say
The show.
early or late season.
Oh, got it. So if you want to go when it's snowing, it's easy to get a main salmon permit.
No, fall is nice in the
But
Maine.
if you want to go have fun,
September is a
yeah.
nice time on the Maine.
Oh man,
You can run the Cellway this year. You could run the
Barrett,
Cellway.
I appreciate you pointing out
August
how
1st.
elitist Aaron is.
No, August 1st. You could run the Cellway without a permit this year, and the water was good.
August.
So there's definitely ways around it, and people do cancel. But the Maine, like you can pick up those trips like that.
I want to just let everybody know the title of the show is Aaron and Zach's Naive and Entitled Rafting Show. We know we're naive and entitled. We know it. So when we say things like that, just understand that we recognize we're that way, and we're trying to do better.
But I'll also say, Zach, you could also do the Lower Maine, which is not a bad trip. So,
okay, whatever. What's the best easy meal that's not lazy? What's the best easy meal?
Here's the question: cheap or not cheap is a whole nother thing. It's the cost.
Oh man. I mean, I used to do an enchilada thing in a Dutch oven that was pretty easy. That it's not that lazy. I mean, a lot of Dutch oven stuff is not that hard. You just throw it in a Dutch oven and you go. We do a barbecue chicken, where we grill each side and throw it in a Dutch oven with barbecue sauce. It's not that hard. It's so good. Yeah, there's a lot of these things.
I think like the pulled pork type of stuff in the Dutch oven, or like like that type of stuff, like or the carnitas in the Dutch oven, we just heat it up. Those are pretty easy.
Yeah.
And particularly if you don't have a lot of ingredients you have to do with it, like pulled pork, you got some buns, depending on when you're going. I think I like.
If you eat buns, you can just eat pulled pork on a plate with some baked beans.
That's true. Yeah, baked beans.
That's some coleslaw.
The coleslaw, depending, could be challenging. You have to grate it all, but
no, you just buy the bag, like pre-made coleslaw in a bag. Depends on. I mean, you can't go on day 12 like that, but bacon, mac and you can do some killer.
There you go. That's it. That sounds really good.
A lot of the really easy meals do take a high level of skill. Like the average person, can't just, if I give them the ingredients for the enchiladas, they won't know what to do. Or like mac and cheese, it's easy, but it takes a high level of skill to get it done right.
Do you think burgers are a challenging meal?
It can be, yeah. Because if you just do like burgers, yeah, you put burgers on a bun and with some cheese and you're done. But like when we did it, we do like a lot of avocado, we cook bacon, we grill mushroom and onions.
The bacon makes it. The bacon when you do the bacon, which I've done a lot too, that makes it a lot harder. If you avoid the bacon, just do like mushrooms and onions, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, there's just busting out burgers, and then there's doing burgers right.
But you can do burgers and just bring some blue cheese and put blue cheese. That's the thing. If you do like a blue cheese burger, all of a sudden you're like, oh, blue cheeseburger, then like versus a burger. So I think that
all of these meals aren't that hard. But as soon as you have vegans and gluten-free people,
I think that's the key part about being a trip leader is you never invite them on your trip. Yeah, people with dietary restrictions, don't invite them.
Stay in Portland.
Yeah,
but stay in San Francisco. You don't need to go to the Grand Canyon, Doug. Good great says get the right people on the trip and other people off the trip.
Yeah. Good point, Barrett. Yeah, that's definitely good to great right there. Yeah.
But it doesn't say anything about charisma and leaders. I'll tell you that. First, who, then what? Yep.
Doesn't say that yet.
Aaron has no school kids. I don't
understand that comment, Barrett. I don't have school kids. What do you mean school kids?
Maybe you have free.
My daughter's in preschool. Does that count?
I think that counts. I've heard of what's a walking taco?
Yeah, I'm curious. Never heard of a walking taco.
Any chance for a live shot meals? Do we want to do that, Aaron? Does that sound fun to you?
A live chat meals?
Live show about meals with the recipes. I have a cookbook.
I think it'd be fun if everyone contributed and brought their favorites because, like,
What do you like? Me and you bring our favorites, or everybody who watches the show?
Everyone watches the show too. I think we can bring ours, but everyone else brings theirs too.
I have a cookbook we could go through and just talk about it. Maybe put that on the
I
list.
think it's a walking taco. Why is it called a walking taco?
I don't know.
Walking tacos, also called tacos in a bag, are one of those dinners that kids and adults equally love. They give them where they're easy to walk around with. So it's basically like a taco in like a Fritos bag or a Doritos bag. It looks like. I don't know. I've never seen that before. So
Heidi, I just put it on our list of things to do on a show. Maybe we'll try it out.
That sounds fun. I bet we could learn some cool stuff on that one.
Yeah. Doesn't Aaron play water polo July, November? Season can be tight based on school and sports.
Yeah, Barrett, I'm coaching, and I just weasel. I just help out. So I coach a couple days a week, and then I bail for trips.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be taking off.
Oh look, good suggestion. Tacos and a bag of chips. Viking tacos. All right, we're done, Aaron. We've gone too long on the show.
Yeah.
My internet survived this far, which is great, but we probably need to put
it got a lot better. Dougie was the problem. Once Dougie got off, it wasn't a problem.
I mean, don't get me started about Dougie. I mean, it's nice to have him here because we get to see his face once in a while, but come on.
I
think this worked out really well. Like, have him at the beginning and have him leave so the show gets better.
I'm just glad he was around when you were gone, although I would have been on the screen by myself. Just like,
I'll fix my router next week.
Yeah. Well, hey, you guys, if you made it all the way through the 2 hours and 15 minutes of the show, thanks for tuning in for the entire show. If you haven't hit that like button, please hit that like button. Of course. Oh, no, we're not doing a members only show afterwards today, but we've done a couple of other ones recently.
We did one more. So here's what we're gonna do with the members only show is basically the moment I get some really cool footage I don't want to share publicly, or there's some news that happens, Aaron and I will try to just do one like on the cuff. So we're not going to schedule the members only live show. I'll just call Aaron and be like, hey, like today at 3, can you do one? So you may not make it there live for him when we do them, but the recording will exist.
And so we can't say we did one earlier this week, right?
We did one on Monday to talk about the Middle Fork log jams. And so that if you remember, the recording is there. I shared photos that were not like mine to share, so that's why they're hidden. I mean, no, I shouldn't publicly share them, but that's why I did it. And some inside stuff I know about log jams that I don't really want to like be the mouthpiece for. So it's some stuff we'll do members only. But when we do those shows, there'll be me and Aaron just having something we want to talk about, and there won't be any schedule to them. We'll just pop them up randomly here and there.
Yeah. So.
Oh wow, we have a Dougie lover. Yeah, it's definitely humbling to make a mistake. That's for sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right, let's finish this up. Sorry.
All right, yeah. So again, thanks again for tuning in. Hit that like button. How many subscribers are you on your way to 10 million? Where are we now?
Hey, check this out. I can play background music.
Okay, put some background music. Cool. I'm not hearing it. Are you playing it? Can everyone else hear it?
Can you hear it now?
No. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Are you just messing with me?
No, really. It's a new setting. It's a new setting they have.
Well, I can't hear it, so. Oh, there we go. Ooh. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any video, please send to me, Aaron at riversanoceans.com. Zach, thanks for putting all this together. Appreciate it.
You can hear it. What do you think of the music, Aaron?
It's awesome. Yeah.